24%, 24%. Your child is gonna become a apostate. Your child is gonna become an apostate. 24%, 24%. Your child is gonna become an apostate. Your child is gonna become an apostate.
One of the more shocking things that I have experienced over the course of those years are the number of young boys and girls who have openly declared their apostasy to me.
24%, 24%. Your child is gonna become an apostate. Your child is gonna become an apostate.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream with myself and my wife, daughter of Christ. We are here today reviewing part of the debate between Jay Smith and Raymond Ibrahim, but we're really going to be focusing in on some of Jay's arguments that he makes for his case that didn't come up fully in the debate, but he has presented them elsewhere, and we do want to address them. But before we do, I want to hand it over to Daughter of Christ.
Well, hello, everyone. God bless you all. Welcome to another live stream with myself and Jai. Thank you for joining us today during these exciting times. We are very happy to be with you today. This is actually the first time that we've commented or like critiqued, I would say, another brother's work. We've always been encouraging, like only last stream we talked about the word and eyes debate or mini debate with Jake, the metaphysician, and lots of other streams that review brothers in the Lord. And this is the first time we're critiquing, so this is one of a kind. And I want to ask Jai, why is it that we've chosen to even comment on this? Does it matter if Muhammad existed or not? Why is it that we're even talking about this?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, for those of you guys who remember, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, there was one stream that I did before addressing some of Jay Smith's argument. That's on another channel, and that was on my own. But as Daughter of Christ said, this is the first time that we're going to be addressing this. And, the question is, like, why are we doing this? Okay, so first I want to explain the spirit that we're coming in. For those of you guys who don't know, Jay Smith, he just had a birthday yesterday. He just turned 72 years old. So he is an elder in the Lord, and we honor him as such, as a brother, as an elder. And we're coming in the spirit of 1 Timothy 5. Do not rebuke an older man harshly, but, exhort him as you would a father. So that's the spirit that we're coming in love and gentleness. And we hope that that comes across. So, does it matter if Muhammad existed or not? To be honest with you guys, that's not a debate that we get into. You guys have seen our content, and for those of you guys who are new, maybe you're just here because you want to hear our review of this debate. Maybe you've only heard of Raymond Ibrahim. Maybe you've only heard of Jay Smith. This is your first time seeing this channel. Well, we don't use this argument, but what is the reason why we're reviewing it then? So do we care if Muhammad existed or not? Would it change our approach to evangelizing to Muslims and doing apologetics? Look, our concern is with truth, and when we see arguments being used and statements being put out there, assertions being put out there that we know are factually incorrect, we feel like it's our place to come in and say, well, we've done this before with Jay Smith. I've reached out to him in private with emails and, things like that. And we've tried, but he, that's in the past, couple of years ago. Like I said, for those of you guys who remember back then when that interaction happened, you guys know what I'm referring to. But there was essentially kind of the same sort of situation where Jay Smith is promoting scholarship that is, well, the one that I was addressing was very dangerous. He was actually promoting the idea that pre-Nicene Christians were basically Muslims. And he was quoting early church fathers and apostolic fathers or promoting them as such. And so obviously that's completely untrue. And so we have to come in as brothers who love each other and love the people of God, and just, people in general that aren't even in the Lord, just because we value truth. And when people are promoting falsehoods, we have to, if you can do something about it, you should try to prevent that. And so this is the way that we have prayed about, and we have thought that this is the way that we've prayerfully, decided to go about this with guidance from the Lord, we believe. And we ask, we welcome all of your feedbacks. If you have criticisms as well, we welcome that as well. And so we welcome everyone's take on what we're doing as a whole. Now, when it comes to the arguments, we're going to explain, and I think they become quite apparent and quite abundantly clear why these are bad arguments. And so our whole point with this particular review is we're not going to be commenting on like the historicity of Mecca and whether there's like water there or plantation. That's not our field. That's not what we don't know about those things. We're not experts in those areas. We just but there are some areas that the Lord has given us, the Lord has gifted all of us, and there are certain areas that the Lord has given us where we can hopefully offer some sort of insights and some sort of help. And if you guys, prayerfully take it, and if you feel it's from the Lord, then take it. If not, then don't take it. But the areas that we're going to be talking about are the linguistic arguments that Jay makes. And the arguments have to do with Hebrew, with Arabic, and a little bit of Aramaic. And for those of you guys who know our background, you know that that's basically what we do. We deal with these languages. We don't speak Aramaic, but we speak Arabic, we read and write, etc., Hebrew. And so we Aramaic to some degree we have some knowledge of, but it's not like nothing close to Hebrew or Arabic, but we have like the working knowledge of it. We can work with it. So these are areas that we know about. Again, we're not claiming to be scholars or experts in these areas, but these are things that we know, like the things that he's talking about. We know these things are definitely not true, what he's saying. And the problem is when he's promoting them on such big platforms. Like there's one video where he did at a church where it has over 1 million, guys, over 1 million views. 1 million views. I think it's 1.2 million views. And the arguments that he's using, the foundational arguments for his position, are just completely false, completely bogus. And again, we say this respectfully and in love, but we don't want our brothers and sisters to be misled by false information. And we don't want brothers and sisters to take on this information and start using these bad arguments. And I want to bring Daughter of Christ in, but I just want to, there's an analogy that we kind of thought about before we started the stream. And it's kind of like if one of us said, like someone in the Christian world said, as like an evangelistic approach, let's say, they went out and they said, hey, we have the original autograph that the Apostle John wrote, the Gospel according to John. We have that original autograph. It's even signed by the Apostle John. It says the Apostle John. And let's say like someone preaches that and so much zeal, so much passion, and they almost get you to believe that that's actually true. But you know that, wait a minute. It was written on papyrus. Papyrus doesn't last that long. We know that they were passing it around a lot. It wasn't expected to live. What do you mean what do you mean you have the original autograph, the original paper, the original book that John wrote? What do you mean? Now, I'm not saying we don't have the original wording. We do have the original wording of the Gospel of John. But what I'm saying is that original autograph, that original thing that the Apostle John penned, if someone was going around promoting that, and let's say you as a Christian know with your knowledge of manuscripts and just, again, you don't have to be a scholar. You just have to know, I guess, on that level, just basics. And you would be able to call that person out and say, hey, I know that you're trying to reach out to people and trying to bring them to the Lord, but you're using a method that is actually wrong. You're using falsehood, you're using error, and you can't lie to people. Now, again, we're not accusing Jay Smith of lying. I think that the information he's presenting, and at least the ones that we're going to be commenting on, is 100% false and easily demonstrably false, but I'm not accusing him of lying. Now, I don't know anything about his sources, who is feeding him this information, because to my knowledge, he doesn't know Hebrew, he doesn't know Arabic, he doesn't know Aramaic. So whoever's feeding him this information, I don't know their intentions, I don't know their hearts, so I can't say they're lying or not. But for J. Smith, we're not accusing him of lying. So just want to be clear on that. But again, back to the analogy. Let's say you have a situation where someone's going around saying, hey, you should become a Christian, you should trust the gospel, you should trust the Bible, because we have that original Gospel of John according to John. We have that. I mean, you would say, look, your intentions might be in the right place, but you're giving false information. Now you can help them out and say, hey, we have the original wording of John, right? You can help them out, but what I'm saying is the false information is what's dangerous, and you can't win people over with false information. It's not something we should promote as Christians, and if you can do something about it, you should do something about it. So that's kind of my normally at the end we'll give like these kind of like verbose conclusions and stuff, but we had to kind of do it at the beginning just to be really clear our hearts here and the spirit we're coming in. So that's me, and here's Art of Christ.
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. We have nothing to gain here. I know J. Smith has a lot of fans, and they're going to come at us. We have nothing to gain. I would love if we could prove that Muhammad never existed. Imagine how easy it is if we could prove it in a way that Muslims would believe it. How easy our work would be to debunk Islam. That would be the greatest thing. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's been a long time now that every time I hear J. Smith and any of his theories, I roll my eyes and I sigh and grit my teeth and hope he'd stop. One, because one of the first things I heard was the Petra thing. Muhammad is not in Mecca, he was in Petra. And there was a lot of vibe about it, good vibes about it online. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon. I was excited. There was a documentary on it. I watched it from beginning to end. And now, we backtrack. Now he backtracked from it. And now, Muhammad wasn't in Petra. Muhammad didn't exist. We look so bad to Muslims. And I'm talking as someone who has been a Muslim. Muslims already look at us, look at people who want them to leave their religion, evangelists, Christian evangelists. They already look at us with suspicions. How do you think we'll look to them if every couple of years we come up with a different outlandish theory that doesn't hold water? Does this work? No. Is this, to me, it sounds like sensationalism. And we work with truth, not sensationalism. And as an Arab speaker, me and Arab speakers, myself and Jai, we need to weigh in because he invoked Arab speakers in at least one or more of his talks about this, saying Arab speakers would agree with me here. No, we would not. If I were to translate his work and go to the Arab world, he'd be laughed out of the room in 5 minutes. They think you're crazy. His Arabic is false, and we were going to demonstrate it. Whoever is feeding him the Arabic information is false. The Quran wasn't originally Christian hymns. That is nonsense. The Arabic of the Quran isn't like Aramaic. They're completely two different languages. And we know people who know Aramaic, we know Arabic. I'm just saying, we're doing this because we know there are a lot of sincere Christians who want something to use to save their Muslim friends' souls, and they trust people in our field to give them the right information that's not going to be debunked 2 years later. Imagine you give your Muslim friend information that you think you trust with your whole heart, and you lose your testimony later. If that Muslim friend knows Arabic or has an Arabic friend, they'd laugh at you. So this is why we're doing this. You guys, Muslims are waiting for us to fail so that they can say, look at Christians, they're liars. We don't need to make it so easy for them just because I don't know the intention. It seems to me like, this great, the mad scientist, this great invention didn't work. Let's go back to the lab and make something else up. That sounds sensationalized and great, and oh, this is going to destroy Islam in 1 minute. We are on the ground, on the front lines of evangelism. We talk to Muslims every day. We know what works and what doesn't work. Muslims, you have a look at our last stream with Jake the metaphysician. You can't even get Muslims to believe what the Quran says, that it confirms the previous scripture. You can't even get them to believe what's in the Quran. You think they're going to believe you with some half-hearted, half-thought-out theory about Muhammad not existing? We need to live in the real world. That's why we're doing this.
All right, guys. So I want to first begin. I want to go back a couple of years. Okay, this is on Jay's channel, and five years ago, 2020. All right, 2020, and I want to show some of what Jay says, and I do have to say that the attitude of Jay Smith in the debate with Raymond Ibrahim was way different than his debate with David Wood on the same topic. Way different. So I want to just start with that, and I want to show some of what he said about David Wood in their debate. So let me pull this up, and we will get started on the clips now. And then we're going to get into the debate that happened just yesterday. All right, so let's go.
Without Muhammad, Islam dies. It flits and floats away. Since we now know he didn't exist, Islam has had its day. David believes he did exist. He really has no choice. Without him, he's just incomplete, yet gives David a voice.
So notice what he's doing here. Now he's reading a poem, but listen to the words. He's saying that David Wood needs Muhammad to exist, and he gives him a place. Okay, let's continue on.
If the traditions were correct and Mamed was a man, then I would be the first in line to give David my hand. But you and I know very well he never lived on earth. His story is just fairy tales. It really has no worth. We know David depends on him. He must stay a prophet. Who else offers him so much fun and makes him so much profit?
So that's what he said about David Wood. And you can listen to the audience. They're laughing. They think it's funny. Some people are like kind of taken back, gasping. I don't think that's funny at all. What he just did was he accused David Wood of saying that, look, your position is that Muhammad existed so that you can have fun and you can make money. Now, that is a disgusting accusation against David Wood. Absolutely, exactly. Chris Kloss right here. We have the same reaction to that. I'm sure many of you have the same reaction to that. Disgusting accusation to make against David Wood. And we can personally testify that that's the farthest thing from David. David is so generous. Anyone who of you have had the blessing to get to know David, you know how generous he is. That's the last thing that he's making money off of Muhammad or something like that. That's the last thing why he does what he does. We don't have to go through, David's whole history of like the death threats he gets and the treatment he gets from Muslims. And to think that he's, doing all that, putting up with, his family in danger, him in danger, just because he's trying to make money off of the fact that Muhammad existed. In Jay Smith's words, he needs Muhammad to exist so he can make money. That is what we're coming against. So without even knowing any of the background on the topic, this should already be a red flag to every single one of you, that if someone employs this sort of tactic, what do Muslims say to us all the time?
Ad hominem.
What do Muslims say to us though? You work for Mossad. You're Zionist. You work for Israel. Where are your shekels? This is something that Muslims say to us all the time.
It's because they have no argument.
And I'm not saying Jay Smith is a Muslim. I'm saying that this is the same tactic that they use. And why do they? Because they have no argument.
Yeah.
So without even knowing the arguments, like I said, you don't need to know the history. You don't need to know the languages. But when someone uses these tactics, red flags.
David Wood is a genius. We know that. If he wanted to make money to fight Islam publicly with his face out and his identity public, is the last way to do it. David Wood did talk about his testimony. There was a time, because of him being against Islam publicly, he lost his job at a university. He was going to be a professor of philosophy. He had a whole career and he lost it. He had to move in at one point with a family because they couldn't, because of money issues, because of the loss of income, because of Islam, because of the persecution that he got. He lost his job because fighting Islam at the time when David Wood was doing it was called Islamophobic and all that stuff. That's the first thing. The second thing is to accuse a brother in the faith who's evangelizing to Muslims, who's bringing them to Jesus Christ. Go to any video of David Wood and you will see in the comments how many Muslims leave Islam, come to the Lord Jesus because of his evangelism, saying, thank you, David, you helped me. Thank you, you showed me. Thank you, thank you. To accuse a brother with that much fruit for the kingdom of having intentions for money and just to have fun when he has paid public cost for the gospel. I promised myself not to rebuke Jay Smith like I do Muslims because he's a Christian. But that was wrong. And I hope he repented for that, because each one of us are precious to the Lord and our hearts are precious to the Lord. And he can see who's doing what faithfully and who's doing what sincerely. Okay? I don't know the kind of fruit that Jay Smith has in terms of helping Muslims out of their religion into the arms of the Lord Jesus. I have not seen one comment from any Muslim saying, because I'm convinced that Muhammad never existed, now I've come. I haven't seen it. But on the other side, I have seen plenty of Muslims saying, you know what, these Christians helped me see that the Muhammad I believe in is false. That he's immoral, that he commit crime, that he did bad things, that he cannot be a prophet of God, whether he exists or not. That approach bears fruit. So I have to examine somebody's motives. Are they really for winning souls, or is it just to be proven right about something? But we're going to go through the particulars of his argument. He's not even right. I'm sorry. We say the truth. He's not correct. Or at least on the parts that are our expertise, which is the Arabic language and the Hebrew language and part of the Aramaic language.
All right. So let's go into a little bit of the debate from yesterday. For those of you guys who watched it, you know that Jay actually didn't offer any positive arguments in his opening statement. And so he kind of left Raymond to, in his response or his rebuttal period, to kind of talk about things that Jay has said in the past, because for whatever reason, he didn't bring it up in the debate. But before we get into the specifics, the language aspects, we are going to just show another point that, like he did with David, that's a very rhetorical point. And again, he's the promoter of this theory. And if he's accusing people of having these sort of horrible intentions, brothers in the Lord, of having these horrible intentions, and then we're going to show here how he contradicts himself in his rhetoric, where he's sort of trying to bolster his position, that again should just be a red flag. And then we'll get into the specifics. So this is just kind of like we're leading up to the main points here. So I want to let him say, it's going to be kind of a little segment here, then another clip and another clip, but it's going to get, you guys are going to see the point to it real soon.
We're just seeing the spirit in which these things are being said, because remember, this is us Christians amongst each other. Isn't that what we're trying to show? So we showed a clip already. Okay, the spirit is not correct, accusing the brethren. Now we're gonna have a look here.
So let's see if you guys can spot the contradiction. Here we go.
Never have done a debate on this subject. There's a reason why. This is not the subject that's ready for debate. I have always said there are three problems with the origins of Islam: the book, the man, and the place. The book, the Quran, the man, Muhammad, and the place, Mecca. But I always would have started with Mecca first. You always start with Mecca because no one's going to kill you if you start talking about Mecca. Then I would have gone to the Quran. In fact, I'm going to be doing a debate in January with a Muslim scholar on the Quran. It'll probably be my 6th or 7th debate with Muslim scholars on the Quran. I'm more than willing to debate the Quran. But Muhammad, you do not touch Muhammad. You do not touch Muhammad. We have seen what happens when you touch Muhammad. My good friend, Robert Spencer, who's listening right now, actually wrote a book on this very title, Did Muhammad Exist? And when he wrote that book, twice now he's been killed, tried to be killed. Once in 2015 in Texas, there was 2 men who came with guns to kill him. Had there not been an off-duty policeman who drove up just at that time and shot them both, he would be dead today because he dared to question Muhammad and dared to put together some cartoons on Muhammad. In 2017, they tried to kill him by poisoning him in Norway. So twice they've tried to kill him just because he wrote that book.
Okay. So the idea here is that this is a very dangerous position to take. And I don't know if Robert Spencer himself would characterize why these assassins, jihadis, tried to kill him was because he questioned Muhammad's existence. I don't know if that's a characterization that Robert Spencer himself would make. But Jay is clearly saying that here. Very clearly, he's telling you that this is a very dangerous position for him to be in. Okay? Robert Spencer, according to Jay Smith, because of this topic, his life was on the line twice, 2 attempts on his life. And that's actually true, that Robert Spencer's life was on the line twice. Keep Robert in your prayers. All these brothers and sisters, keep them in your prayers. Like I said, I don't know if Robert himself would characterize the assassination attempts that way, but that's what Jay Smith is doing here. He's trying to give you the idea that this is a very dangerous position, that Jay is taking a position that could, lead him to that same path where, God forbid, a Muslim tries to take his life because he's questioning Muhammad's existence. Is that pretty fair based on what he said? That's a correct assessment of what he said? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, but it's not true because he said that it's Robert Spencer did a cartoon about Muhammad. He didn't say he didn't exist. At least that's my understanding. The reason Robert Spencer was in danger from the Muslims, it's not because he didn't exist. It's because he did cartoons mocking Muhammad. Mocking him means he exists, right?
Well, it's
right. Mocking
their idea of Muhammad. Yeah, he's mocking.
Yeah, he's mocking their idea of Muhammad. He wrote books on how violent Muhammad was in the sources. That's why they're after him.
Yeah, but even if that's putting that to the side, though, that's what Jay's saying.
Yeah,
he's saying that this is a very dangerous position for him to be in.
Yeah, and dangerous means good in a way. So dangerous for Islam. Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
So keep that in mind. Okay, keep that in mind.
All right. It just doesn't make sense to me as if he's making a cartoon doesn't mean he's saying he's not existing.
Right. Well, no. Okay. So anyway, so
but I understand what you're saying.
The point is that Jay is saying that this is a very dangerous position. Now, let's see what else Jay says later on.
All right.
So that's why we're even asking this question. I didn't want to ask this question.
This is later on in the debate, guys, by the way. Same debate.
This is not a debate I wanted to do. I really wanted to talk about Mecca and the Quran. Those two are really debatable, much more so than Muhammad, because it's getting visceral, and I'm going to get an awful lot of hate mail, and I'm going to get probably a lot of death threats, because I know a lot of Muslims don't like what I'm saying at all. And the reason is very simple. If the Muhammad did not exist, and if everything they're basing their faith on, and they're only basing their faith, and Raymond is right, their faith has to be come from this man named Muhammad. If Muhammad did not exist, the other two come crashing down. Both Mecca and the Quran come crashing down. In fact, all of Islam comes crashing down. You cannot have Islam without Muhammad. And you can see the dilemma that this is going to be for Muslims. Not for me, not for Raymond, but for Muslims, this is a huge dilemma. That's why they won't let you even question this. Notice, around the Muslim world, there are two things you may not critique. The C-295 law in Pakistan. If you question Muhammad or if you question the Quran, it is a capital offense. Why do you think they have those two laws? Why is it only those two you can't question? Because those are the weakest parts of Islam. Those are the two weakest pillars that hold up Islam. Without even one of them, Islam falls down. And we've been questioning one of those pillars today, which is absolutely dangerous to do so. For me to even make that statement, look what happened to Robert Spencer. For me to even say so publicly, look what happens to anybody. Those Charlie Hebdo cartoons. Look at Hatun. Look at what has happened to Hatun because she questioned him, and she wore those shirts with the cartoons on her. That's something you do not do. You don't touch Muhammad. You don't touch Muhammad, and you can see why. Because without Muhammad, if nothing, Islam is completely flat, goes completely kaput. Now, Raymond, you are right. What's the value in doing this? What's the value? Listen, everything that you do on the internet, and you may do that in Christian circles, but I don't see you doing this in a mosque. I don't see you doing in questioning Muhammad or his fakeness. I don't see you doing that in a public context because it is.
Okay, hold on a second. So I don't understand how Jay can say that. We're not even at the contradiction yet, but I don't understand how he can say that when he's been at Speaker's Corner for like 30 years. He knows that there are Christians in public criticizing Muhammad, people just like Raymond Ibrahim. In fact, all around the world, you have it in London at Speaker's Corner, you have it in New York City. God Logic goes there every year, brings a huge crowd of people. They're criticizing Muhammad in public. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that go to these events, and many Muslims as well. You guys have probably seen the videos that God Logic's been dropping. Every year he goes there. So people are doing this in public. People are criticizing Muhammad in public, and they're having these debates in public, right? This is something that is kind of surprising coming from Jay because of his history. He has been attacked by Muslims for debating about Muhammad at Speaker's Corner many times. He's been attacked physically.
But why in a debate where you need to stick to the subject do you accuse the other side of, oh, you're not on the street? How does that help the subject? And again, that's an issue I had with this debate on Jay Smith's side. There's a lot of this back and forth chatting and not bringing stuff that strengthens the actual argument. You're not on the street bringing this to Muslims. You can't touch Muhammad because you will get death threats. Yeah, we know that. Where is your argument? Unfortunately, a lot of time was spent on rhetoric, like the poem that he did against David Wood. We know rhetoric works with the public. I want evidence. And I didn't get a lot of evidence.
There's no evidence. He didn't give any evidence in this debate.
It's all this back and forth chatting in a debate. Whereas with Brother Raymond Ibrahim, he brought actual points. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Not that he didn't accuse someone else of not being on the street, doing this and that. I thought these are two academics. Why are we talking on who's bringing what on the street? Let's stick to the subject. Well, let's show the contradiction.
Okay, let's go to the contradiction. So this is the point of us bringing this up, guys. He's making this point that initially he said Robert Spencer's life was on the line twice, because he dared to question Muhammad's existence. And so he's saying it's a very dangerous position. Now watch what he's saying.
Very dangerous to do this in a public context. And that's why you only do it on the internet. And I go all over the world. In fact, I'm going to be in 3 different countries in just a month in Africa. And I've been there now 3-4 times. I go back to Africa all the time. And I go to where the Muslims are, and I go to where the church is, and I go to where the church is being persecuted. And in everywhere I go, they say the same thing to me. Jay, we can't use Raymond Ibrahim's material. We can't use Hatun Tash's material. We can't use David Wood's material or Sam Shamoun's material. As good as it is, because if we use that material, we get killed. They come to us with machetes and they kill us. We cannot mock Muhammad because they see it as a mockery whenever you call him a fake Muslim, a fake Muhammad. They call it as a mockery. But you, Jay, we want you. We want this material. They tell me this. In fact, I'm going to be there in just a little over a month. I'm going to be going because they want this material, because this material doesn't mock Muhammad. This material does not attack Muhammad. We don't even talk about Muhammad. The only thing we say is, prove to me he existed.
All right. So very clearly right there. This is also another reason why we're doing these debates, because he is going around the world and he's teaching Christians this material. And the material, which we're going to get into now, we're going to get into the content now. What is he saying that is demonstrably false? But how many of you guys just saw the contradiction right there? He started out his opening statement by saying that Robert Spencer, his life was attempted twice by jihadi assassins, twice, because he wrote on the existence of Muhammad and that Muhammad didn't exist. Twice. But now he's saying, oh, it's actually your position that's dangerous. Mine is safe. I can go around the world safely. I don't have to worry about jihadis coming after me.
So is it dangerous or not?
Is it dangerous or not?
He said it's not dangerous. He said he goes where the Muslims are, where Christians are persecuted, and he's safe. Let me give you a hint. If you feel safe with an argument in a Muslim country where they could come after you, your argument is not a threat. I'm going to say this again. If people are saying to you, your argument, give us your argument, because if we say it to Muslims, they won't touch us, they're fine. It's not a threat. It's not going to help anyone come out of Islam, and it's not going to help anyone come to Jesus. That's why Muslims aren't going to kill you. Notice what he said. He said, the people there are saying, if you give us David Wood arguments, we're going to get killed. That means David Wood's arguments work. If you're going to give us Raymond Ibrahim's arguments, we're going to get killed. That means they work. That means they work. If you say, Muhammad didn't exist, prove to me they exist, he existed, they look at you like you're crazy and they walk away. I'm just saying it as someone who has been a Muslim before. If someone had come to me and said, Muhammad never exists, prove to me he exists, I would have looked at him like he was crazy, and I would have walked away. That's why it's safe. And as Christians, we're not afraid of death. We don't chase death, but we're not afraid of it. Lots of the apostles, the disciples that were around Jesus, each one of them died a horrible death. None of them was safe.
Yeah, except for John.
Except for John, and they tried to kill John. They put him in boiling oil, and he survived by a miracle. They want to kill him too. That means each one of them was speaking truth. So the fact that you're safe is not a good sign, man. I'm just being 100 with you right now.
So there you go, guys. We see the rhetoric that he used against David Wood, making these disgusting, ugly accusations in terms of his intentions and his motives. We see the contradiction that he says at the very opening statement. He talks about that the position is very dangerous, and then he ends by saying that it's actually very safe.
So is it dangerous or safe?
So there's contradictions. There's attributing ill intent and bad motives to people, to brothers in the Lord. And now we're going to get into the core of it now. We're going to get into the arguments now. So because, as I mentioned, and if you've seen it, you know that this is the case, that, we just saw it right there. Jay said that he's not ready for this debate. He just said this debate shouldn't be happening right now. So he agreed to doing it, though, but he didn't actually present any arguments for his position. It was a lot of talking, and he sounds like he's, gonna say something, but he never actually got to it. He started to give rebuttals in his opening statement towards the end, and then it kind of left Raymond, like I said, with kind of nothing. So Raymond is going to mention, you didn't mention this, but this is one of your points that you bring up, and so this is what we're going to be discussing today: the Arabic Hebrew arguments. So here's Raymond Ibrahim, and he's going to be giving his rebuttal now. And again, he's going to be noting that Jay didn't give this argument because he didn't give any arguments, and he's going for his position, but he has given this argument in the past, so he's going to be addressing this because you have to address something, right? This is his time to address something. It's his rebuttal period. He needs to rebut something, but nothing was really said to rebut, so he has to show what Jay had said in the past.
All right, let's go.
Okay. I don't know, you haven't mentioned it, but I do want to mention it.
See? You haven't mentioned it because he didn't mention the arguments. I don't know why. I was expecting him to mention this, but let's hear it.
The weak one. Okay. I don't know, you haven't mentioned it, but I do want to mention it because it's really important. The Muhammad name. So, I mentioned the 7th century attestations of Muhammad, and some of them use the name, of course. Doctrine of Yacobi doesn't, but Cebios does. John of Damascus does. His Theodore Abu Qura does. And what I've heard you talk about, okay, so there's the Muhammad without the vowels, which is because it was a nascent language, and that's true. It's very hard. I used to work at the Library of Congress. I was called in to try to decipher Kufic Quran script, which is essentially the same thing, and it is very hard to read. I get it. There's no diacritics. There's no nothing. But that's, again, a reflection of a nascent language coming into being, okay? So, but it's not, I don't think this, and the other thing people need to understand, I've heard the argument that Mahmud, M-H-M-D, means the praised one. Well, it does, absolutely, okay? But guess what? Every single Arabic name means something laudatory. Okay, we know Ahmed, which is kind of a cognitive, it also means praised one. Kareem, the generous one. Abdullah, the servant or slave of God. Every single Arabic name means something laudatory that you could, if you look hard enough, maybe find some reference somewhere to Christ with that name. So it's not as compelled. This isn't some kind of strange coincidence that Muhammad's name just so happens to mean the praised one. Every name has a meaning in Arabic like that. But in the case of what we're talking about, which is the Christian sources, primarily Greek, they're actually exactly what they write is Muhammad. So John of Damascus, he writes Mamed. Well, yeah, because he's writing in Greek, and there's no H in Greek. So he can't write Muhammad. It becomes Mamed. And we know that's Muhammad because then Abu Qura uses Mamed in Greek, and then he uses the Arabic Muhammad, just the way it's written. Okay, so this is the name of Muhammad. And it just seems people get tripped up on the difference between translation and transliteration. All right.
So that's he's responding to one of J. Smith's arguments again that he didn't bring up initially, but he's going to respond to it now. So we're going to show him responding to it, and then we're going to show him developing the argument in greater detail, and that's when we're going to be going into the sources and commenting or challenging the sources.
Okay.
If you want to call him Mamed or Mahmed, don't place him where he should be, in Mecca. Nowhere in Mecca, way up in the north. Now, what's interesting, you went on and you did talk about, well, whether we call him Mahmed or Mahmed. Now, remember, what is Mahmed? Mahmed is a very well-known word. It actually is a title. It's been around since 1400 BC. The Ugaritic was introduced there. It's in your Old Testament 11 times in Hebrew. Hebrew borrowed it from the Ugaritic. It's the same 4 letters that you see for Mahmed that we use today. And it's actually, when you look at the Old Testament, look at Song of Songs 5:16. There is the altogether lovely one. So he is known as the praised one, the blessed one, the anointed one, the altogether lovely one. In the 4th century, we have the Saint Ambrose who.
Okay, so here's where he gets into the argument. But there's another clip, the one that I mentioned earlier, where there's 1.2 million views on 1.2 million views. And that's the one that I want to be getting into because he shows his slides and things like that. So he's going to be making the same argument in this video. And again, you guys can see 1.2 million views, right? And so we're going to see what type of information he's presenting here. Now, there's obviously a lot to comment on from what he just said, but we have a lot to go through so we can get into it in, greater detail as we go. But yeah, what do you think so far?
The Lord Jesus Christ is called altogether lovely, and he's trying to say that therefore Muhammad is the praised one as a link to the Lord Jesus. Is that the logic?
Well, I'll show you exactly what he's doing in this video. We'll get into it.
Okay, let's see.
Requires 3 vowels. Do you see any vowels in any of those manuscripts? Do you see any damas or kasras or fatas? I don't see any. And this is why Raymond hasn't done his history. Are you listening to this, Abdul? Please listen. This is for you too. I know you don't know Arabic, but they agree with me. In the 7th century, there were no 5 dots. Today, there are 5 dots. These diacritical marks had to be invented because nobody could read that. You can't read it. But that's why they had to be created in the 8th and 9th century. So with that in mind, What does the word Muhammad look like today? That's what it looks like today, all right? You both agreed with me that.
So he's talking to two people in the crowd that speak Arabic, and he's appealing to them. He's saying that they're, he's calling some guy Abdul, and he's saying, you don't know Arabic, but these guys know Arabic. So he's appealing to Arabic speakers, and yeah, you guys can see this is where we come in.
But since there were no vowels back then, this is what it looked like back then. Now read it. Ooh, did you hear? Mamed. So suddenly it goes from Muhammad to Mamed.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's literally the same
It's still
exact.
It's still Muhammad.
It's literally the same exact word, the same exact name.
It's still Muhammad.
If you go to anything, any book, any newspaper, anyone, just someone writing their name Muhammad, they're not going to be writing their name with these vowels. They're going to be writing their name exactly like this. This is what the name looks like.
In the Arab world, this is how people write the name Muhammad. They don't always add in these marks. Why? Because everybody knows what it is. These extra marks is to help maybe non-Arab speakers or people who are starting to learn or people who don't know. If it's already known, you don't need the extra marks because people know. You can see it looks similar. So you look at it as someone who knows the language already and go, oh, this is Muhammad. Plus, also, if you say Mahmad, you are assuming that the first letter has a fatha, the second letter has a sukoon, like a pause. The third letter has a fatha, which is a vowel, and the third letter has a sukoon, a pause. You're assuming. You can also assume differently, which Jai will get into.
We'll get into that, yeah.
So if you don't know Muhammad, you don't always call it Mahmad. You can assume different marks and a different way of saying it if you don't know it.
Yeah.
But most people, in fact, or everyone, we don't use these marks anymore because everybody knows what Muhammad looks like.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Thank you. Let's give her a hand. Abdul, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be clapping. This is shutting you down. You just keep somber for a while, okay? So now it's become mimha mimdal with no vowels, which means this is a word. It's not Muhammad, but it's Mahmad.
Again, it's not Muhammad. This is just conjecture on his part. You can read it. We're going to show how many different ways you can read this word. But there's a way for us to know based on, different patterns in Arabic where you can learn and you can know what the vowels are going to be without even needing to see them because you know the language.
Someone is accusing us of not knowing what we're talking about because apparently people know now, but not in the 6th and 7th century. Prove that to me.
Yeah.
Prove that to me. I can say that actually Muhammad, they would have read it Muhammad because Mahmad makes no sense. As Raymond Ibrahim said, names had meaning. Muhammad, they would actually look at it and think Muhammad because Muhammad means the praised one. Mahmad has no meaning. The word Mahmad in Arabic has no meaning. No one would have named their son Mahmad, and no one would have read it Mahmad. And I'm thinking you're not Arab either, because no Arab, either whether the 6th or 7th century or now, would think Mahmad is a word. Mahmad makes no sense.
All right.
So I assume, actually, we know that they call it Muhammad. So if you're going to pretend that they called it something else, you need to prove that to me.
Okay. Yeah, so anyway, final, just stick around.
We'll show you.
We'll show you if you're interested in what the evidence actually is. Stick around. If you're only interested in just regurgitating, if you're only interested in just regurgitating things, then you can do that too. But if you're interested in facts, you're interested in truth, then stick around. We'll show you.
How do we know that? How can we prove that right now? Well, we need to go to John of Damascus, good old John of Damascus. See, John of Damascus was there in the courts of Abdul Malik from 685 to 705. He was a Christian. He was there in Damascus. That's why he's called John of Damascus. He was a treasurer for Abdul Malik. And so he was watching what was happening, and he was seeing that this dispute was happening between the Ishmaelites and those who come in the line of Isaac. The Jews and the Christians come in the line of Isaac, but the Umayyads were Ishmaelites, and they did not have a prophetic line. They didn't have any scripture like the Jews and the Christians had. And yet they controlled now from, by the time Abd al-Malik comes to power, from Spain all the way to India and from Turkey all the way to Yemen. So they were the second biggest superpower of their day. The problem is they had no identity. The Byzantine Empire, the other biggest empire that there was, the biggest competitor, they had a prophetic line. They had a scripture. They had a whole series of prophets. What did the Ishmaelites have? They needed a prophet, and they needed a book, a revelation that would equal what was going on. So he was watching this, right? He sees this all happening. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't write anything because he's under their employ. So when he retires in 730, now look at the date, 730, we're well into the 8th century. We're 100 years after Muhammad had died, if Muhammad had existed. He then writes his greatest masterpiece. And what does he title it? Look at the title. The Heresy of the Ishmaelites. Ooh, I love that. Why does he say heresy of the Muslims? Because there were no Muslims that early. Muslims, that word did not exist. We can't find any reference for anybody called Muslims.
Okay, I mean, this is not our main point, but I mean, Muslim is literally in the Quran. So
Yeah.
this is a very, like, I know he wants to focus on, like, you know, the fact that Muslims were called Ishmaelites, they're called Hagarites, they're called Saracens, you know, all the sorts of different names. And then eventually they were called Muslims. So that's much later in, you know, from like European, Western books and things that are writing about Muslims. It wasn't until much later. In fact, they were called like Mohammedans and stuff like that as well. But what were they calling themselves? We see in the Quran.
Muslims.
Yeah. So that, anyway, that's not one of the points that we're going to be, one of the major points here, but I just wanted to comment on that since he mentioned it.
Yep, let's go.
No Muslims. So he calls them Ishmaelites. Ishmaelites. Now we see what's going on. And he talks about this prophet that these Ishmaelites have. This, what does he say? He says that from that tonight, a false prophet called Mamed. Now notice he's writing in Greek. In Greek, the vowels are there. Look at the Greek, those who can read Greek. What does it say up there on the top left that's circled? Mamed.
Yeah. So, okay, so we're going to comment on this point now, because if you just transliterate a name into another language, you're not going to get the exact pronunciation for that name or for that word, right? So, for example, for those of you who can read Greek, you know that there's no ha sound here either. It just M-A-M-E, and then like what would be like a the, you know, theta, or the will be like a D sound. The closest approximation. But if you just look, even today, even in English, this is something that I think, you know, would be very relatable to people. If you just look at the names, you know, it's, for those of you who don't know, the most popular name in England, you know, registered baby name for males is Muhammad. But look at all the different variations for how to spell Muhammad just in English. Look at all these variations just in English. So using a transliteration and then trying to backtrack that into the original language, I mean, you can do that. Like a lot of, you know, city names or person names can be done. But as Raymond Ibrahim pointed out, that you have other documents where you have the Greek and then you have the Arabic right on the side. And we know that's talking about Muhammad, not Mamed, or one of the other many other vocalizations that you can make.
Yeah, because you've transliterated it twice. First from the Arabic to Greek, and now from Greek to English. There's no ha in Greek, and there's no ha in English. That's why instead of the ha, they use the H. That doesn't mean it's not the same person. That's the error. And because something is a heresy, it doesn't mean the person didn't exist. It just means they were wrong.
Yeah.
And there's a Greek person that says it doesn't say Mamed in the chat.
Okay.
So I don't know the kind of Greek that he has. Can you tell us what it does say?
So there we go.
Yeah, and a false prophet doesn't mean a prophet that doesn't exist, just from the English that he's translated. Okay, and because a heresy has been fabricated doesn't mean the person who fabricated it didn't exist.
All right.
All right.
It's Mamed. John of Damascus tells us what it is. It's Mamed. So this Mamed, who after conversing with an Aryan
So hold on. I just want to show comment here. Yeah,
Yeah, it says
There you go.
Mamed.
exactly. So this is again a problem with transliteration. You're not going to get the exact approximation for how a word is pronounced. You can get some idea as to vocalizations, but in terms of vowels, but this is not going to tell us what the original word was, because there's so many. We're going to show how many different combinations you can have, but just because you can have a combination, a possible combination, doesn't mean that it's actually possible. But here we go. Let's continue on.
Who are the Aryans? They didn't believe that Jesus was God. Aryan.
I just want to comment on that. Saint John of Damascus also said that he's a false prophet, okay, and that he was conversing with an Aryan monk. So he's talking about a person.
So a person,
Okay.
a person who conversed, it didn't exist.
So it's interesting that the source he goes to, yeah, exactly, the source he goes to is calling him basically a false prophet. He's literally calling him a false prophet, and the Greek is here on the side too. For those who can read
So
Greek.
Mamed, after conversing with an Aryan monk, fabricated a heresy. So Mamed doesn't exist.
He wasn't saying that Mamed is actually Jesus if you just reconstruct it back into Hebrew or something like that. But we'll get to that.
No, it was a false prophet who conversed with an Aryan monk and made up his own thing.
Exactly.
So actually, this source doesn't help. In fact, it goes against the idea that he didn't exist. This is really like not good scholarship. Really not good.
They didn't believe that Jesus was God. They didn't believe in the Trinity, and they didn't believe that Jesus was the Son of God. They didn't believe Jesus at all was divine. Arius is the one that brought this up in the 4th century. The Arian controversy has been around ever since, almost from the 2nd century. You have the Ebionites bringing up the same problem. Arius brought this up in the 4th century. Athanasius was told to shut him down at the Council of Nicaea, which he did, and here it raises its head again. And there is John of Damascus watching this. He's ringside seat, and he writes this, his greatest piece. And he says, this Mamed, this new prophet, this Aryan monk who get your material from, and he goes on, he fabricates his own heresy, and then he talks about that this monk has 4 books. The book of the cow, ooh, that's Surah 2 in the Quran today. The book of the women, that's Surah 4 in the Quran today. The book of the table, that's Surah 5 of the Quran today. And the book of the camel, there is no surah called the camel. But what are 4 books doing?
All right. So this is something kind of a side note here. Something a lot of people bring up, and they to try to discredit Saint John of Damascus. Now Jay's not doing that here, but a lot of people do, and they say, like Jay said, he talks about the book of the cow, which we know is Surah 2, still has that name. The book of the woman, okay, we know that still has a name. The book of the table, we know that. Then there's this book of the she camel, and we're going to show you guys that actually, again, this is not really like there's not like a refutation here of like Jay or anything like that, but this is more of a point just to kind of vindicate St. John of Damascus. Yeah. So this is a manuscript right here that you have the scholar commenting on it on X, and Sean Anthony, another scholar of Islam, mentions that what's interesting about this particular manuscript is that instead of Surat al-Shams, which is chapter 91, it's not titled Surat al-Shams.
They gave it a different title.
A different title.
Called Surah al-Naqa. What does the
Naqa.
What does the word Naqa mean?
She camel.
She camel.
So
actually it did exist.
And so he actually says this actually explains in part why John Damascene refers to the writing or the graphy, which is the writing or the book about the she camel of God. So he was talking about chapter 91,
which still exists, but it's just under a different name today.
And then you have another scholar here saying that he actually found this really interesting because he said, I found this nomenclature in 4 other old Quranic manuscripts, and he gives you the names of the manuscripts there. So actually there are multiple Quranic manuscripts that actually still maintain that name. So this is more like a side point. Like I said, it's not really refuting what Jay is saying, other than just, I mean, that is, there is actually evidence that Surah 91 was called, instead of the chapter of the sun, it's called the chapter of the she camel. The she camel.
Yeah, Surah al-Naqa.
Yeah.
So John of Damascus was correct. There was such a thing as that surah. It's different title now, but it's Surah 91. He
Yeah.
didn't make it up, and it wasn't some imaginary story. So
And you can actually see it here. For the person who said that you can't read, this is impossible to read this script.
you can actually read, you can actually read
anyone who can read Arabic can read this very clearly.
it. There's surah,
yeah.
there's the word, there's the seen, wow, ra, ta, marbuta, and there's an-naqa.
Yeah.
Now I can tell it's an-naqa because any other combination of dots won't give me a word that means anything.
Exactly.
That's how the old Arabs would read, because they knew the language of what, any sound, any old sound doesn't give you a word.
Right. Now, of course, there are a lot of places that are very ambiguous, and the script was highly criticized even by Muslim scholars, which we're going to get into that as well. But there are things that you can read unambiguously, and this is an example from the manuscript that actually, no, there was actually the book or the graphy of the she-camel. So John of Damascus vindicated, and all those people who try to put him down, like Muslims who comment on him, or some scholars who comment on him saying he didn't know what he was talking about or he was making things up. We actually have the archaeological evidence now to show that he was actually telling the truth, and there were books that had that exact title that he said. Just like there are books that, the chapter or the book of the cow, we know that's chapter 2, Al-Baqarah, so.
And we know that he did talk of a false prophet called Muhammad, and his Greek only gave him the option of writing it in the way he did. And that false prophet conversed with some Christian heretic and made up a religion. Doesn't mean that that person didn't exist. Okay?
All right.
Let's
When there's supposed to be only one book called the Quran. Isn't that interesting? This is 730, well into the 8th century. But now we know who this Mamed is. His name is not Muhammad. His name is Mamed. So who
Again,
No.
this is false, but we're going to see, he's going to try to give more evidence for this.
in the world is Mamed? Wait till you find out. Here we go.
This is the sensationalism, guys. It sounds really, really good. Like, wait till you find out. It's very exciting, right?
I
But-
want to know.
But it's false.
What does Mamed mean in Arabic? It is not a name, it is a title. It means the praised one, the blessed one, the anointed one, or even the Messiah.
Okay, guys.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It does not. There's no one in the world is going to tell you that whatever vocalization you have for MHMD, whether you want to say it's Muhammad or Mahmed or whatever vocalization you want, no one is going to tell you that it means the Messiah or the anointed one or even the blessed one. Blessed one is a little closer because it's talking about someone who's praised. You could say blessed maybe, but the anointed one or the Messiah,
No.
that is completely false. That's completely false. This is misinformation. So it's very dangerous that over 1 million people have seen this lecture, and this is his foundational leading up to everything else he's talking about. His foundations are off, and he's teaching people false information. There's nothing in the world you can do to prove that Mamed or Muhammad, any of the various combinations, means the Messiah or the anointed one. This is completely false.
Guys, Mamed is not an Arabic word. I'm going to say it again. Mamed in that pronunciation is not an Arabic word. If it is, I want a dictionary from any time frame. The praised one is Muhammad. The blessed one is Al-Mubarak. The anointed one is Al-Masih.
Yeah.
Mamed doesn't exist in Arabic. I'm saying it here. I'm saying it here. Mahamad doesn't exist in Arabic. You have Muhammad, which means the praised one. The blessed one is a different name, Al-Mubarak. The anointed one is Al-Masih. Please, all my brothers and sisters, if you're going to make wild claims like that, you need a dictionary definition. I don't mind if it's ancient. I don't mind if it's a classical dictionary, an ancient dictionary, or even a modern dictionary. You can't make things up. We are Christians. We don't lie for the sake of the truth. Thank you.
And now I just want to show all the different combinations that you can have. So there's a reason why J. Smith is saying Mamed, okay? because he's trying to link it to Mamed in Hebrew. So he needs that vocalization, right? And so if we're going to do what he's doing and we're going to say, hey, you can just fill in the blanks, whatever vowels you want to. Well, why are we saying Muhammad and Mamed are the only two options?
Let's have a look.
Let's have a look, guys. So this here
It's before the dots, right?
this is before the dot. So guys, this hopefully this is easy to keep up with here. But here we have Muhammad written in Arabic, or if you just want to do MHMD, guess what? This letter could also be read as a jim, which is the J sound, or it could be read as a kha, which is a kha sound. And this letter, dal, can also be read as dal, a th sound. So you can have multiple combinations. If you're going to do what J. Smith is doing here,
Just pretend.
why? And you just say, hey, the possibilities are endless, which, by the way, this is an argument that we can make against many different words in the Quran. This is just not one of them. This is just not one of them. And I'll give examples. I'll show you guys what I mean. So I'll go into more.
That's why
examples here.
I say if you go back to the Arab world and present this, they'll laugh you out the room.
Yeah.
You pretending that the Arabs didn't know what the Messiah was, they knew for thousands of years. They had Christians before Muhammad came. Do you think they called Jesus Muhammad?
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They called him al-Masih.
So if you just take the base letters here and you fill in, okay, is it like a D sound or a the sound? Is it a ha or ja or is it kha? You can there's six different bases you can start with.
Shall we read it?
Well, we can't read this because we're not even putting in the vowels yet. We'll put in the vowels soon, but I just want to make it clear. So this particular word, which he's saying is Mamed, we're saying Muhammad. Actually, you could put a dot below it, and then you could, I guess you can make up a pronunciation.
You can say Mamed.
Mamed, or yeah.
Or if you say Mujammad, it's frozen.
Or yeah.
And then Majmed,
Yeah.
which makes no sense. Any vowels you put.
Yeah.
Mahmed.
We're just putting in random vowels, or some of these. Yeah.
Or you can say Muhammad, which maybe like a fire that's put out, or Mahmed, which makes no sense any way you put the vowels.
Yes.
So you could actually make anything up if you pretend that you can just put the dots any way you like. And this was before dots, so now we can mix anything up. That's why I say you need evidence.
Yeah.
Can't just pretend.
And now we're adding, so those are the consonantal marks. Now we can add in diacritical marks.
Which are extra marks on
So
top.
every one of those letters we just showed you, all 6 combinations, and hopefully someone is good at math. Maybe one of you guys can double check our work here, or you can do something like this, have some fun with this. But you can say, so instead of it starting with a mu, like Muhammad, he's saying it starts with the ma, Mamed. It could also be me, like Mehmed or something like that.
Yeah, like why does he assume it's the ma?
So there's 3 different.
It could be mu or me.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the word, there's 3 different vowel options, possibilities that you can choose from. Ma, mu, mi. Okay? And then when it's in the middle, you can do what's called like a shadda, which is a doubling of the letter, which is what we have. Muhammad. Okay? And so you can do the same thing. You like a ma,
you can say Muhammad.
Mi. And then the end letter, it's at the end, so it kind of stops there, so you don't put a vowel on that. But
you can say Muhammad or Muhammad or Muhammad, which everyone knows. So why are you assuming it's Mahmed? That's my question. Where you get that from?
So check this out. So if we just take the base, and then we look at the different vowel possibilities, the M at the beginning, really you can only read that in one way. It's an M. Yeah. So that's only one way. But there's 3 different vowels you can link it with. So you do 1 times 3. So there's 3 possibilities.
Ma, mi, mu.
Right. Ma, mi, mu. Right?
Okay.
Now the ha, you can actually do ha, kha, or jim. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's 3 different consonants that you can do. Ha, jim, kha. And each of those can take on, I'm going to count the sukun as a vowel, even though it's not technically a vowel. It's like telling you it's not. You don't make any noise. But it does count as a possibility. So there's 3 consonant possibilities, and each one of the, so it has to be one of the 3, and then that can take on 4 different, let's say, vowels, right?
You can go up, maha, or mahi, or
just like stop at it.
Or mah, or you can say, then you can go to the kha and say maha, mahi, mahu, or you can say, or mah, or you can go the jim, maja, maji, maju, or maj.
So there's 12 different possibilities. There's 12 different possibilities for that. And then again, the M, because it's not at the beginning, there's actually 4 possibilities for it. So it can be mi, mu, ma, and it can also take a sukun, so like a like just M by itself. And then we'll say that the D at the end, there's the possibility that it's a D or like a dal or a dal. So da or the. So there's 2 possibilities there. So 3 times 12 times 4 times 2 is 288. 288 possibilities. Now I want to show you guys all the different ways. If we want to take this really seriously, like we have no idea which one it is. I want you guys to see this, how crazy this can get. Okay.
Wow.
So if we take this, if we take this base.
I didn't know that Jai was doing all this today. I was wondering, why is he so wow? It's taking so long.
So yeah. So if we take this base here, there are 48 different possibilities, okay, with this base. So you can say Mamed. And by the way, we're not even adding in the shadda as well. The shadda.
If you add the shadda, that will be even more.
Because you could put a shadda here, you could put a shadda here, you could put a shadda, like, so this is that can make the possibilities endless. Now this is only 3 of the options right now.
Wow.
There's 288 ways you can vocalize that. If you want to take Jay's critiques that seriously, there's 3 different ways you can vocalize it, right? In terms of consonants, right here. So there's actually 6 total. But then you start adding in vowels, and it goes. The possibilities are endless.
We're trying to say that it's not hard to make it sound like Mamed in the Hebrew, because there are 288 possibilities, and to try and make it sound like something about the Lord Jesus that happened to be in Hebrew, another language. I don't know what kind of scholarship that is. Because you're assuming it's a kha when it's a ha sound. You're assuming the vowels are where you want them to sound like Mamed, when you have no indication of any of that.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to say. To approximate one of 288 possibilities with something that you want to make it sound it like in the Hebrew, it's almost like playing a game. You're gonna hit one of them.
There's more. So, and
that's what we're trying to say.
There's more. Look, so if you put these consonants on here, so the idea here is, guys, that if you just read this in the raw skeletal text and you have no idea how to vocalize it, we're telling you these are all the possible ways you can vocalize it. Okay, so these are all the possible ways you can vocalize it.
So how do you know it was Mamed or Mamed?
Okay, so how do you know?
You don't know.
Okay, how do you know? Well, if you actually like, Hebrew works like this, Semitic languages work like this, where they have, the technical term is it's called a morphological pattern, which is a really fancy way of saying that there's a way you can determine what the word looks like or how it's pronounced based on where it is in the sentence, the syntax, etc., or what form it's in. So you have certain roots that are in Hebrew, that are in Arabic, that are in Aramaic, and then you can see how those turn into verbs. Those verbs have certain patterns and participles. So we're going to show you guys some examples. So just stay with us here. Okay. So there's just a very basic form here. If you want to say the word, he knew. Okay. He knew. Alima. Alima. He knew. Okay.
Alima, yeah.
Yep. So alima. All right. That's the very basic form of it. Okay. And then if that's that's form 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then the active participle, okay, this is alim, a scholar, someone who knows. So these are patterns that these verbs follow. And you can do this to different forms. We only need to go to form 2 to show you guys to get the point that we're making. So
alima.
Alima means he knew, and
Alim.
then with a shed, you put a shedda
In
for
the
the second, the middle. That's why I put the blue there, so you guys can follow it here.
It's allama.
Alima means that he made it known.
Yeah,
right?
he taught it.
He made known, he taught it. So then if you want to put that in the active participle form, it's mu'allim. Mu'allim. It means a teacher, which is the one who makes something known.
And then if you want to say the person got educated, it's mu'allam.
So mu'allam, mu'allam.
Mu'allim, mu'allam. So you see that the difference is so slight, and you get like a different form. It tells you who did what, it tells you what's been done, and who is the doer and who is the person done to.
Okay. Now what's important here is that this is how the language works. So these are patterns that you can follow. You just take any verb and you can follow certain patterns. So here's another one. You guys have probably heard, Muslims using the word jahil before. Jahil.
Yeah, they always call us
so if you want to say that somebody was ignorant, jahila.
Yeah.
Jahila. And then that in the active participle form is jahil, which means someone who's ignorant.
And
jahala with the doubling on the H.
He made someone
ignorant. But you guys see what's going on here. Now we're going to go back to the active forms and passive forms.
Oh, it has an M.
You guys are going to see that these are certain patterns. So it's not just for the word Muhammad. Like, we have no idea how to pronounce this word Muhammad. We don't know what this word. No, we're gonna show you guys that if you just know this works for Arabic, it works for Hebrew, it works for any Semitic language. They have roots, and then these roots form basic verbal patterns. And these so I'll give you guys a real life example of this. I'm gonna daughter of Christ. I'm gonna have her read something. She doesn't even know what it is. I'm gonna have her read it, and then I'm gonna ask her, how does she know that it's in this particular form?
He's right, because he didn't tell me this.
I didn't tell her this before.
I'm a bit nervous now, but you see here the M came in.
Yep.
Mujahil.
Yeah. Mujahil.
One who causes ignorance. It sounds a bit like Muhammad, doesn't it?
Yep.
Mujahil.
Now that is where
Mujahil, it's the one who has made ignorance. Sounds like Muhammad.
Yeah. The same patterns here. Look,
the M is what makes it like the passive. What makes it passive?
Yep. Something happened. Yeah.
So that's why Muhammad is the praised one. He's passive. He's got the M at the beginning. Means that this has been done.
We'll show it. We have it here. So now we're on the verb hamida. Hamida.
He praised.
Okay. He praised. Now, if you want to put that in the active participle form, it's hamid. Means one who praises. Okay. Now the second form. So this is the second form of the verb. This is very basic. This is just basic of Arabic. And like I said, you do the same with Hebrew. You can do this with any verb, guys. Any verb in the so for those of you guys who are interested in learning Semitic languages, there's a very logical pattern that the verbs follow. So if you just learn this pattern, you don't, because this is what a lot of learners of Arabic and Hebrew, they get confused. Like, how do I read it without the dots and stuff like that? How do I read it without the dots? Well, once you learn the patterns and you internalize the rules,
you don't need
the dots. And it just works in a logical pattern. So now we're going to go to the second form, okay? Or the second verbal form. And this is,
it's Hamada.
With two M's.
Yep.
Hamada.
Sounds like Muhammad, doesn't it?
Now, this is the active form of, okay, what is, okay?
It's Muhammad.
Mid.
One who praises intensely. And if he's being praised, then it's Muhammad.
One who is intensely praised.
So the M here, actually, it's what makes it passive. And it works for verbs generally. Like to be educated is mu'allam. To be made ignorant is mujahal. And to be intensely praised is Muhammad. So the M makes it passive. That's how I know it's Muhammad and not Mahmad. So because it's in the passive participle form of the verb.
So guys,
that's how we know.
So guys, look at the blue. So the blue match. So you have the mu, and then you fill it in with the blank. So for this letter has the letter ayn. So you put the ayn in there. Then this one has the letter J. So you put the jim in there. This one has the ha. So you put the ha in there. But then the blue all stays the same. So you double this. You put a shadda on the for example the lam here, and then the ha here, and then the meme here. And then the last vowel is the same. So what we're saying is, guys, if you know the language, you learn the patterns, you learn the forms, it's not a mystery as to what these words mean. And this is how you can know what they mean without having the dots, without having the vowels.
That's how I know
So-
sure that Mamed is not the praised one.
So
Because it's not correct in the verb, the passive verb. The praised one, the blessed one, the whatever one,
Yeah.
it's something passive. It's been done too. He's being blessed. He's been praised.
yeah.
That means it's Muhammad. It can't be Mamed because Mamed doesn't mean anything. It's not grammatically correct.
Exactly. Like 99% of these are just impossible in Arabic. These
Yeah.
combinations, these
They're-
are impossible, grammatically impossible.
That's how the Arabs know how to read. That's
Yeah.
why we say if you take these arguments to the Arab world, they'll laugh you out the room. They'll say Mamed doesn't exist in the language. It's not in any verb. It's not correct a way of saying the praised one because the praised one is a passive. It's like Mu'allam, the taught one. Muhammad is the praised one. That's how we know.
So
Right?
here we go, guys. I'm going to show you guys something without any dots on it at all. Okay, this is just a random headline. I just went to the news, and it's
It doesn't have. It doesn't have
there's no diacritical marks at all. I'm just gonna ask Daughter of Christ to read this heading for this news. It's about a movie that just came out, and again, completely random. And I just wanted to read it out, and we're gonna be so surprised how she's able to do this. It's gonna be amazing. Watch.
This is I want to watch that movie. Film Palestine 36. The movie Palestine 36. Murashah Palestine. The
Like it's expected to
yeah
be nominated.
yeah the nominated one.
Nominated.
Murashah Palestine. The nominated لجوائز الأوسكار for the Oscar prize.
Okay.
So Murashah is nominated. So I know it's Murashah.
Wait. How do you know this is Murashah? How do you know it's not
or Marshah
Yeah.
or Marshah.
How do you know that, guys? Because this is how the language works. If you're learning the language, eventually you're going to learn to internalize these things, these grammatical rules. For example, when this is in this form, you read it like this. When it's in that form, you read it like that. But for a native, it's just something internalized. You just know these forms because this is the language that you speak all the time. That's why earlier on, look, we critique the script that they wrote into early on in the early manuscripts, and there are many problems with those ambiguities, and they caused many issues between the different readings of the Quran. So we're not saying that, but there are certain words that they can only be read one way, or they only mean one thing.
You know how I know it's not Marshah? Is because that word doesn't exist. Murashah means
By the way, this is actually the same form that
you can actually read it in any way, but I know it's not that because it's not. It doesn't. But Murashah, it's a nominated. It's a passive. Notice that it sounds like Muhammad. Murashah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Same form.
It's the mu at in the beginning is got a o sound.
Yeah.
And the
Ra.
last the ra is has got a sound like Muhammad, and the sheen in the middle is
got a shadda.
It's got a double sound, Murashah, like Muhammad. So it's got a double sound. It's not Marshah like Mamed, like what J. Smith was trying to tell us.
Like we could show the 288 combinations for this, and it wouldn't make any sense in any of them, or maybe a couple.
Because I know the film is nominated. It's passive.
Yeah.
So that's how I know. So, like I say, don't take these arguments to any Arab. People are asking us why we're doing this publicly because more than 1 million people have watched J. Smith, and they might go and tell their Muslim friends, and they'll get laughed out of the room.
Yeah.
They'll get laughed at, they'll get ridiculed, they'll get called liars, they'll get called clowns. That's why we're doing it. We're doing it for the 1 million or so Christians, poor Christians that are just taking this information and going to use it. And I don't even know that if we're going to reach the damage, actually, because it's more than 1 million people that have now jumped on this bandwagon.
In fact, there are even people in the chat here right now, which I'm glad they're here. I hope that they have ears to hear. But this person here is even saying in Hebrew, Muhammad is the messianic title. He learned this from J. Smith.
Is it?
And we're gonna show that this is a complete fabrication. I'm not saying this person HH is lying. I'm just saying you learned this from J. Smith, and this is not true. So this is the disinformation that we're trying to dismantle and say, guys, you can make arguments that Muhammad didn't exist. We don't. That's not something we're interested in doing. Because everyone has different time for different things. You can put in times for different things. Like we have so much time in life that you can dedicate to certain topics and certain things. If that's a topic that you want to dedicate to, did Muhammad exist or not, then go do that. But if you make arguments that are false based on misinformation, then as I mentioned, listen to the beginning of the stream. We explained in detail why we're doing this and why we're also why we're doing this in the spirit that we're doing it in. So just to be clear, this person here only is saying this because he heard it from Jay Smith, and this is exactly what we're talking about. This is the misinformation that we're talking about that we hope to dispel. So if you guys see this kind of misinformation, feel free to point it out or point it to this video.
Exactly. Like in English, you know instinctively if something is a tear, like crying, or a tear, like something being split, torn. Lead, like you're leading someone away, or lead, like the element, the metal. That's how I know instinctively also in Arabic that it can't be Mamed. Mamed makes no sense. But Muhammad, now that is someone who's being praised. People asking us why we don't debate Jay Smith is because we heard him say, if you want to debate me, you need to have all these qualifications. I'm just an Arab who knows my language.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. And
look,
I know something that doesn't exist in this language.
Okay. Look, it's obvious that Jay is not getting these arguments because he knows Arabic or he knows Hebrew.
Someone's telling him.
So he's not the person to really debate this topic anyway. Whoever's feeding Jay this information, we wouldn't mind talking to that person.
I'd love to know the Arab who's told him this. I'd love to know.
Look, but someone just made an example, like as an English speaker or someone who knows English, you don't need to be a native. You just say like this, number or number. Like for example, if I say number one, like number one, number two, number three, or if I say, my left hand was number than my right hand, like, it's cold, it's numb. You just know instinctively because, you just know the language. Just it's the same thing in any other language,
like,
guys.
Imagine if someone
internalized rules. And
if someone then came to you and said, actually, number is actually number.
Yeah.
It's actually number, and it means something completely different to number or number. You would laugh at them. This is the equivalent. Yes. Number doesn't exist. It's either number or number. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
And then they say to you, how do you know it's not number?
That's what we're hearing, guys, when we hear him say this. How do you know it's
it sounds so upset, and I don't blame Jay Smith. I blame whoever the Arab who told him this.
It can't be coming from an Arab. It's impossible.
It's somebody who made it up.
Yeah, it can't be coming from an Arab. I mean, if there is an Arab out there who has a source that means that's saying that if Mamed exists in the Arabic language,
I'd love to know,
and it means Al-Masih, then we would love to see that. But all right, let's continue on.
All right.
It's a title, folks. Have any of you heard this name before? You have? Where have you heard it? Okay, in Arabic, but where did you hear it before Arabic?
You didn't hear it in Arabic.
No,
maybe he means Mahmoud or something like that. Maybe you heard Mahmoud.
Or
yeah.
Muhammad.
Yeah.
I've never heard Mamed in Arabic.
Yeah.
Never.
Arabic. How about Hebrew? Anybody here speak Hebrew? Anybody studied Hebrew? Have you looked at the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament? You will find Mamed 11 times in the Old Testament.
All right, guys, so this is the comment that we just put on the screen. Someone is saying, oh, no, it's Mamed. That's the word. And then it just came into Arabic, and that's why it's not pronounced Muhammad, it's pronounced Mamed or Mamed. All right. Okay, we're going to get into that. All right, so he just said that it appears 11 times in the Old Testament. Okay, let's see if he says anything else about it before we show what it actually says.
Mamed is well known in the Bible. You didn't know that, did you?
The sensationalism, you didn't know that. 1 million people have seen this, guys, and people are asking us why you're talking about it.
Yeah,
I mean, this
because,
is
because
1 million people. Well, guys, if you knew that something was false and something is being presented to over 1 million people, are you telling me, and you got the opportunity to say something, I mean, you wouldn't do that?
I'm worried that we can't even match this now, and it's a lot of these 1 million people who are going to walk around saying this stuff.
Yeah. I have actually reached out to Jay in private before about very, very similar issues, and he's perfectly fine with people doing back and forth videos. Yeah, so for people who are getting sensitive on his behalf, that's not how he feels.
Mind.
He doesn't mind.
He doesn't. He's an academic.
I've got the emails. I've got the WhatsApp calls. We've talked. He knows that people do responses to him. He doesn't necessarily watch them, but he doesn't mind. So you guys don't be sensitive on his behalf. I know that you're doing it out of love, but he doesn't actually mind.
if you're an academic, you don't mind pushback. And this is very like simple level Arabic. It's not even like hard. You guys, this is awful Arabic. It's not even an Arabic word, Mamed.
Now we're going to go to the Hebrew.
Well, here we go. The Ugarites were the first to introduce this word in 1400 BC, the Mamed, the praised one, the anointed one.
Okay, he just says that the Ugaritics were the first to introduce this word, the praised one, the anointed one. Okay, so let's first go. I have some sources, okay, that we can go to on this for Ugaritic.
What's Ugaritic?
Ugaritic is another Semitic language, and it's pronounced in different ways in different universities. Some say Ugaritic, some say Ugaritic. And so here's a dictionary, pretty much like the Golden Standard Ugaritic dictionary that you can find. It's published by Brill. And let's go to the entry on this particular word. And let's see if it means, does it mean the praised one or does it mean the anointed one? Let's see. In this dictionary, they're defining it MHMD as desired, desirable, precious.
No.
Exactly as it's used in Hebrew. You can see Hebrew right here. Precious objects in Hebrew. Aramaic, it mentions something desirable, and etc. So
it's not the anointed one.
it's not the anointed one,
and it's not the blessed.
it's not the blessed one, and it's also not a title. I don't know where you got that from. You guys can see adjective right here. So it's like it's describing something. Okay, it's not a title of something.
It's like to say something is strong, something is calm, something is weak, something is precious, something is cheap.
Yes,
it can apply to, let's say, jewelry.
It can, well, we'll show you in the Bible where it applies to, because he talks about it in the Bible, but he gets the number wrong. Again, this is something that it's very like his researcher, whoever his researcher is on the Hebrew. I mean, the Arabic we already discussed that, but whoever it is for the Hebrew, oh man,
it's not good.
We'll get to it. But so again, this
fire your researchers.
Yeah,
fire them now, please, Dr. Smith.
So
fire them.
Yeah. So again, this is the gold standard dictionary of the Ugaritic language, and it's telling you what this word means in Ugaritic. What this word means in Ugaritic. Desired, desirable, precious. Exactly what that means. Exactly what it means in Hebrew, by the way.
Right.
That's exactly what it means in Hebrew.
That's the translation in the Bible.
Yeah, and I'll just show exactly what it means. I'll show a Hebrew lexicon. So there's a Ugaritic lexicon. Now here's a Hebrew lexicon. Okay, classical Hebrew lexicon.
But that's also another hint for you guys. I didn't see any Arabic lexicon in his presentations. I didn't see a Hebrew lexicon, and I didn't see a Ugaritic lexicon.
Yeah.
Dr. Smith is an academic. Maybe he doesn't think that the lay people are interested, but I think we ought to really give this proofs and tools to lay people, even lay people. We are able to handle lexicons. If you're going to talk about languages and you're an academic, I expected lexicons. I didn't see one for Mamed in Arabic. I just saw some words out there that don't mean anything and are not provable. They're not in any dictionary. I can tell you now.
Yep. Exactly.
Except for the praise one for Muhammad.
Yeah. Right. So, which he didn't show either.
Yeah, he didn't show anything.
Yeah.
He just wrote it on a slide.
Yeah. So this is what it means: desire, objects of desire, the delight of. So, example, like the delight of their womb, meaning their dearest offspring. It means grace, beauty, something precious. Okay, something precious. Now, he says that it appears. Let's hear it one more time. He says that it appears 11 times in the Hebrew Bible. That Mamed, specifically, he said Mamed. Okay, he didn't mention any any conjugation of it, because you have multiple conjugations of
what's like conjugation.
For example, like if I say if you say like day, like yom in Hebrew, yom, or yom in Arabic, and then you want to say like I don't like my day, yomi. So it's saying like my day, yomi, Hebrew, Arabic similar, yomi, and this is a conjugation, meaning like it's conjugated to me. It's like my day, or I could say your day, or their day, or his day, or her day. So just like that's just the conjugation, like different forms of the same word. All right, so let's see what he says one more time.
In the Old Testament. Old Testament, you will find Mamed 11 times in the Old Testament.
Okay, 11 times. 11 times. Let's see if that's true, guys. Does it appear 11 times in the Old Testament? Okay, so
so we got
well, like these are just different. I want to show all the different forms. This is online library that anyone could just go to, called Safaria. Safaria means library in Hebrew, and it's probably one of the biggest databases for Hebrew that's bilingual usage, like you can do it in Hebrew and in English. There are other ones that are just in Hebrew, but obviously that's not going to benefit us today. So this is you could this is not Mamed strictly speaking, because there's a conjugation to it. So this one as well, this one is saying they're desirable things. All right, this isn't Song of Solomon.
Oh, that's the Deem. I know that one.
Yeah, Machamedim. This is desirable things, precious things, right? Again, here you have it here, but again, these are conjugations. But if you just want to say, where does Mamed appear? Like this is a common expression as well. Like it's talking about the Mamed of your eyes. Like this is used in like Ezekiel.
Like the precious thing of your eyes.
Yeah, like Ezekiel is Ezekiel's wife is referred to as Mamed of your eyes.
Does that mean she's the anointed one?
Mamed Ainecha, which means the Mamed of your eyes.
The anointed one of your eyes.
Yeah.
Really, guys? Really?
So it appears just Mamed. It appears once, twice, 3 times, 4 times.
So not 11.
5 times.
Okay.
5 times, not 11 times. Okay, because all these other times, like for example, this is Mahmadai, different forms. Mahmadai again. Mahmadai. All these different forms. So these are, so if you're just gonna say the term Mamed appears 11 times, well, first of all, if you're just talking about like the root form, it's 14 times it appears. There's 14 references right here.
You know what that sounds like?
Yeah, I mean, you could say like he's just wrong on this point. It's not a big deal that he's wrong on the number.
No, but it's not the number.
But it's like
it's pretending it's the Messiah.
Yeah,
sounds a bit like what Muslims tell us about the Song of Songs.
That's exactly yeah.
It's giving them credibility when it just means precious thing.
Yeah,
it's not the Messiah.
So when you're saying that the MHMD of the Quran is actually the MHMD of the Bible, you're actually saying that that's Muhammad in the Bible. He actually says Song of. He's going to go into this and say that song. In Hebrew it's Song of Songs, but in most Christian English translations it's going to say Song of Solomon. But this is where it appears once in the plural form, Machamedim, but then here all the singular forms. There's 5 singular forms of it. So once in the plural, and then 5 times in the singular form. All these other times are conjugations. So there's not 11 times. There's 4 times it appears in the singular. Sorry, 5 times in the singular, and then 1 time in the plural.
And it can't mean the Messiah because, like we just seen,
it's talking about Ezekiel's wife in one of them.
Ezekiel's wife is the precious thing of his eye, not the Messiah of his eye.
Yeah.
We need to do a little better.
All right.
Okay.
BC, the Mamed, the praised one, the anointed one.
Again,
it's not.
It doesn't mean the praised one or the anointed one in Ugaritic. It means none of those in Ugaritic.
It was then borrowed in Hebrew.
It's not borrowed in Hebrew, guys. This is just like a pet peeve. It's just a pet peeve of mine. He talks about, again, this is not. I'm not like coming after him on this. It's just ignorance of language and how language works. Like it's not borrowed in Hebrew. Hebrew has its own root for the same Semitic roots, and it forms into Hebrew naturally, just like it formed into Ugaritic. It doesn't really form into Aramaic. It's used in Aramaic very scarcely, but it doesn't really form that way as it does in Hebrew. And it appears like we say here in Ugaritic as well. And then in Arabic, it has a different meaning. It doesn't mean desired. It means praised, right? We already showed what it means in Hebrew. It means, in Arabic, it means praise. So the same Semitic root, but it has a different meaning, Semitic meaning.
And in Arabic, it means the praised. It doesn't mean precious thing. That's
right.
what I mean. That's a completely different word. So it's not true that you can just put the same sounding word in different languages and get the same result, like it's a vending machine at the end. It's not how it works. So number one, the anointed one is different to all of it. The blessed one is different in Arabic to all of it. And Muhammad is the praised one. It's different to the altogether lovely, or like if
Desirable.
the desirable one, like in the Arabic Bible, it's a different word, and it doesn't mean precious thing. Different words, different languages. You can't cross them over, like mix and match them. That's not how languages work.
Exactly.
In 1000 BC and put into our Bibles 11 times. Song of Solomon 5:16, the Mamed, the altogether lovely one, the praised one. That's Solomon.
It doesn't say the praised one, and it's not the altogether lovely one. Like this is like something that you should have learned, like very basic, like when you're refuting Muslims and they say Song of Solomon 5:16 is about, Muhammad. I'm sure most Christians are familiar with how to refute that. Hopefully I don't have to get into a big explanation for why that's not a person there. And grammatically, it's impossible for it to be a person. That Mohammedim is not a person. Okay, whether Muslim says it or whether it's Jay Smith saying it or one of Jay Smith's followers, it's not a person. Okay, and again, it doesn't appear 11 times in that exact form. It only appears 5 times in that exact form. Mamed only appears 5 times, and then it appears 1 time in the plural Mohammedim. Okay, and then it is conjugated in different forms apart from that. Okay.
So he's actually got it wrong here in the 5:16. He didn't put the eem.
Yeah, it's not
It's not Mamed.
Yeah, it's Mohammedim.
Yeah, so he got
He
it.
didn't put the plural.
Yeah, so it's in the plural. It should have been plural on the slide.
And I have to say, I mean, Jay must know better. I know he's been debating with Muslims for 40 years or something like that. 50, I don't know how long, but he knows that it's not Mamed in Song of Solomon 5:16.
So why is he
And so
saying
I don't know why he's saying that. That's completely false. So again, this is terrible misinformation to teach to people. You're teaching now a room of, and he says he goes around the world and teaches this stuff to Christians. So he's going around teaching Christians that Mamed or MHMD is actually a person, and that Song of Solomon prophesies this. Solomon prophesies this person in chapter 5 verse 16. This is false information, misinformation. And anyone who has the ability to speak out against this stuff, you have the platform, you have the ability to do it, you should do so, because this is going around to lots and lots of people, and they don't know any better. Like, there's a lot of people in the chat that you guys can see who, they don't know Arabic, they don't know Hebrew, they don't know any of these languages, but they're just repeating things that Jay said, and they just take it as truth because Jay said it. But do they actually know these languages? No, they don't know the languages. So it's like when they hear something from Jay, as I mentioned, he's an elder. We honor him in the Lord. We honor him as an elder. But when he's wrong, he's wrong. And we're trying to, as I mentioned in the beginning, come in the spirit of 1 Timothy chapter 5, where, not rebuking an older man harshly, but rather to exhort him as you would a father. So we're trying to speak to him in that same way as we'd speak to a father. Okay. So we're not being disrespectful or anything like that, but this is wrong information. It's false information, and it should be called out. So
even in the Arabic Bible, in Song of Solomon 5:16, it does, when it comes to the equivalent, it doesn't say Muhammad or Mahmed. It says Mushtahayat. You see, it's completely different from the Muhammad and the Mahmed roots and everything. Mushtahayat means desirable things. That's the equivalent in the Arabic.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear that? Kulluhu mushtahayat. Mushtahayat is the equivalent in the Arabic.
Yeah.
Not Mamed, Mahmedim, or anything. It just means desirable things. It's not a title. It's about things.
Right.
And it's plural.
It's plural. Just like it is in Hebrew. It's the same, just same thing as in Hebrew. It says khulu Mohammedim. All together desirable, altogether lovely, right? Talking about this is not they're saying that's not saying Mamed is. No, it's saying that his mouth is this person that's being talked about, Solomon here, is being talked about. Or if you want to, allegorize it and say that, it's about God and his people, or Jesus, and or you want to say it's about Israel, you can allegorize it as well. But it's not, Mamed never becomes a title of a person.
Exactly, Samawi. If you want to say it literally in the Arabic, وَكُلُّهُ مُشْتَهَيَاتٍ, he is full of desirable things. He is full of desirable things. Nowhere in that is the Messiah. Nowhere in that is the title. Now, I know the Lord Jesus is full of desirable things, just like he's a teacher, just like he's truthful, just like he's faithful, just like all that. But it's not nothing to do with Muhammad or Mahmad. It's just a description, and it's plural. That's it.
All right.
All right.
So,
Solomon's referring to. There's the Mamed we're looking for. Now, by the 4th century, St. Ambrose, the early church father, took it. Remember, Arabic comes from Aramaic, which comes.
okay, guys.
No, it doesn't.
Arabic does not come from, guys, this is like saying Italian comes from Spanish.
No, it doesn't.
Right? We know that Italian, Spanish, French, Romanian, etc., they come from what? They come from Latin. So Semitic languages come from a Proto-Semitic language, right? And Hebrew is a sister language to Arabic, which is a sister language to Aramaic, which is a sister language to Ugaritic, which is a sister language to Phoenician, etc., etc. They're sister languages. They don't come from each other. They come from a common source. That's why you have so much in common between them in terms of roots, in terms of structure and how they work, things like that, vocabulary, but they don't come from each other. Again, this is just like ignorance.
He's just saying it.
It's just ignorance. I mean, we're not really coming at him hard for this, guys, but this is just another point that's just like, it's false.
That's why if he goes to any Arab country and says Arabic comes from Aramaic, I mean, I dread to think what they'll think of you. They'll call you names. They'll call you, I don't want to say. Dr. Smith, if Arabic comes from Aramaic, why not quote me one linguist scholar of any kind saying, you guys, our Arabic comes from Aramaic?
Yeah.
You just, I can't believe, you're just saying it. You're just saying it.
There's no one in the world. I mean,
no one says this in the whole world. Nobody.
There's not like there's only like linguists only, they can only theorize of a Proto-Semitic language, which means like a language that they all descend from, but they're branches from the same language, right? They're in the same language family. That's why you say Hebrew is a sister to Aramaic, which is a sister to Arabic, which is a sister to Ugaritic, which is a sister to etc., etc. Phoenician, etc., all, you know, Old South Arabian. There's many different forms and dialects and
this is the problem here with just wanting to defend and not listening.
Yeah. So
did he say that?
Yeah. So Slasher, if Jay Smith said what you just said right here,
we wouldn't have a problem.
Would we be responding to it? We wouldn't be responding to that.
Shall we listen to it one more time?
Let's listen to it one more time.
Just listen to it one more time.
One more time.
Try to be fair and use your ears.
Listen.
There's the Mamed we're looking for. Now, by the 4th century, St. Ambrose, the early church father, took it. Remember, Arabic comes from Aramaic.
He said Arabic comes from Aramaic.
Does it?
You just said Arabic is part of the Semitic language family, which includes Hebrew, Aramaic, Amharic, and others.
Mm-hmm.
The Semitic family itself is a branch of a larger Afro-Asiatic language family.
Did he say all that?
He didn't say that. And you didn't actually, I mean, I don't know if you understand this or not, but being a part of the same language family doesn't mean that they come from each other.
No, they
don't.
It
means that they're branched from the same group, right? Just like you have Latin, and out of Latin, you have Italian, you have French, you have Spanish, but you wouldn't say Spanish comes from Italian. They come from they're both branched out of Latin. So this is kind of like a part of the problem, is that, you know, people are defending without even understanding what is being said. Jay Smith didn't say what you just said, so I don't understand why you would say he was right about that. And then you just affirmed exactly what I just said. So you're saying Jay Smith is right, and then you say exactly what I said. You can't
he would be right if he said what you said or what we said. But he didn't. You guys, us Christians are loyal to the truth. We are loyal to the truth. We are not loyal to personalities. We are not loyal to fame. I'm not even loyal to someone who has history doing good. I'm loyal to the truth. You guys, you must love the truth before you love a person. If you don't, you can't follow Jesus. And just because we're correcting someone doesn't mean we're against him. What he said was wrong. Arabic doesn't come from Aramaic. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Exactly. Just like what this comment says right here. It doesn't come from Aramaic, but it's related to a common language earlier. Exactly. So they have a common ancestor. That's what we're saying. So again, this is not a major point. I guess the only reason why we're talking about it so much is because people are commenting on it in the chat. But this is really not a major point. It's just a minor mistake that he made, and we're just commenting on it.
But you imagine if a Muslim...
but the followers though of J. Smith, who don't actually understand what he's talking about and just have blind loyalty to him, are trying to defend him on points that they...
But he's an academic, you guys. He's not a lay person that we can just let slide. He's an academic, and he's got millions of people listening to him. And Muslims take anything you say, even if it's minor or major, and say it's wrong and claim victory and walk away from Jesus. So you can say, oh, you're pedantic, but if I said something stupid like Italian comes from French,
you hope someone will correct you.
You think Muslims would look at me and laugh and say she's either a liar or an idiot, walk away from her? And especially if I'm an academic, you guys, we have to hold them to a higher standard.
Yeah,
we have to.
So so again, guys, we're only commenting on this so much because people in the chat who are trying to defend him are, maybe they don't understand what he's saying or they don't understand what we're saying. So we're just emphasizing that. But really, it's like, I mean, J. Smith, he's not a linguist. He doesn't know these languages. He makes minor mistakes, but he's also making major mistakes. This is just one of the minor mistakes. But now we're going to get into something here that is just completely false on every single level. Okay, I want you to hear this one more time.
Referring to, there's the Mamed we're looking for. Now, by the 4th century, St. Ambrose, the early church father, took it. Remember, Arabic comes from Aramaic, which comes from Hebrew. So therefore,
again, false, God. That's not how it works. But okay.
So Hebrew is the mother.
Yeah.
And then it gave birth to Aramaic, and then gave birth to Arabic. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I mean,
why
you can have I mean, you can, if you want to believe. Anyway, well, we'll just go on.
We've already.
For it's all the same letters. They use all the same letters. They're all Semitic letters. They use the same consonantal.
No, again, this is another thing that they don't all use the same letters.
Really?
So there's 22 letters in Hebrew,
and
for
26
example,
in Arabic,
or 28. Yeah.
Sorry, 28 in Arabic. So we have 4 extra letters.
Yeah. So
how is it that Hebrew was the mother tongue?
6 extra. Yeah.
Sorry, 22 and 28.
Yeah.
Sorry, my maths is not mathing.
It's okay.
You see, I'm correcting myself now.
Yeah.
Okay, because Muslims are gonna say, "Oh, you said Arabic's 26." Arabic has 28 letters, and Hebrew has 22. Correct? 6 letters missing. So we don't all have the same letters, and it couldn't have come from Hebrew as the mother tongue or the source, like he said, because we have extra.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So 22 letters in Hebrew, 28 letters in Arabic. Okay. So again, he just says things like they're so matter of fact. Again, it's not a major point, but it's wrong. But that wasn't the major thing I was getting you guys ready for. This is the major thing here when you talk about St. Ambrose.
Text. And therefore, St. Ambrose, writing in Syriac, talks about this Mamed from Song of Solomon 560. And he says this is a title for Jesus Christ, the Anointed One, the Messiah. That's what the Anointed One is. From that time on, from the 4th century AD, it was this Mamed was employed by many of the church fathers. Here's some examples. Origen, in the early 3rd century, the Christian theologian, interpret the Song of Solomon 5:16, a passage as the unique scripture where the eschatological nuptials of Christ and his bride are present. St. Ambrose in the 4th century AD introduced the ideas of that Song of Solomon 5:16 passage referred to Mamed was to be considered a title for Jesus Christ, the Messiah. Gregory of Elvira continued that idea in the late 4th century. St. John Cassian continued that in the 5th century. St. Augustine, the great church father, continued that in the 5th century. And then Apollonius in the middle of the 7th century also believed that this Mamed was Jesus Christ. Conclusion, the title Mamed, not the name Mamed, the title Mamed was a common title for Jesus by the 7th century in the church in that part of the world, especially in Arabic, which took it from Aramaic. So we should not be surprised when we find it written in many places at that time. It's written all over the place. That's why we find Mamed after Mamed after Mamed. But it's not just the Christians, the Jews also use that title in Hebrew. If you have any doubt, just take a look at this.
Okay. So I just want you guys to hear all of that, okay? And let's go back to his point right here when he's talking about Saint Ambrose, because we're going to bring this one up in particular, because we can do this to every single one of them, but we'll just do it just for the sake of brevity. We'll just do Saint Ambrose.
Messiah, Greg of Elvira, scripture where the eschatological nuptials of Christ and his bride are present.
Okay, listen close to what he's saying about Saint Ambrose. Watch this.
St. Ambrose in the 4th century AD introduced the ideas of that Song of Solomon 5:16 passage referred to Mamed was to be considered a title for Jesus Christ the Messiah.
So he's saying that Saint Ambrose is introducing the title Mamed, which, by the way, it's not in Song of Solomon 5:16.
It's
okay?
Mahmedim.
It's Mohammedim. Okay, number one. But he's saying that he applied it to Jesus. Watch.
Messiah, Greg of Elvira.
Okay, and now he's saying all these others as well. Now let's go and look and see, what did Saint Ambrose actually say? What did he actually say? So this is the verse. His mouth is most sweet. Yeah, he's altogether lovely, which is Mohammedim, altogether lovely, altogether desirable.
Not Mamed.
This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. Now, Saint Ambrose of where? Milan. Okay, so that should be a huge red flag to everybody right now. You guys know where Milan is, right? Milan is it's not in Israel.
Oh dear.
It's not in Israel, so he's not a Hebrew speaker. It's in Italy.
Oh dear.
So he was writing in Latin.
Oh wow.
Okay, so he doesn't read Hebrew. So when Ambrose was reading Song of Solomon 5:16, he wasn't reading it in Hebrew. He was reading it in Latin.
So how would he know Mamed?
Latin or Greek?
So how
Latin
would he know
or Greek?
Mamed?
So he doesn't say that at all. He just says, on this account, his mouth is sweetness and he is all delight. For God is the author of all good things and all good things which are his.
So where is Messiah and all that?
J. Smith said that Saint Ambrose here said that Mamed was a title for Jesus, the anointed one, the Messiah.
Did he?
He says right here, he is all delight, which he's writing in Latin, right? So he's reading it in Greek or Latin, the Vulgate or the Septuagint. And then he says, for God is the author of all good, God is the author of all good things, and all good things are his. Does he mention the Messiah here at all? Or that Mamed is the title? You guys, he didn't use the word Mamed. He was writing in Latin.
Wow.
He wasn't writing in Hebrew.
Wow.
You can go to his text. His texts are available. They're in library. I mean, you can look it online. They're digitized. It's in Latin. There's no word in Latin that says Mamed. No Mamed in Latin in the original. And he never applies it to Jesus. He never says a title for Jesus. So I don't know where in the world he got this from, but this is completely false. And other people are pointing out Augustine doesn't even comment on Song of Solomon. Exactly.
Why?
So you can look at all of the fathers that he mentioned, or all of the saints that he mentioned.
And none of them said it?
None of them said it. Origen, out of all these, Origen was one who could actually read Hebrew. Okay. But he never said Mamed. Guys, all of this is completely false. None of these people ever said Mamed is the Messiah. None of them. It is false. There is no. So this is a point where I was telling this to Daughter of Christ earlier that exactly who's doing his research. But I was telling this to Daughter of Christ earlier. It's like I was almost thinking like, well, because we're putting up all these references and showing all these things. It's like, what do I put up for this? Like I can't put up like up like a dictionary that says Mamed doesn't mean like this is. There's no source for this.
That's what I said to Jai is that he's the one presenting it. It's the burden of proof is on him, and I would have expected an academic of his caliber to show, not just to write it on a slide. Show me the reference where each one of these people said it, because we can't prove that they never said it because they never said it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean,
like, how do I prove that none of these people said it? I would ask him to point to where they did say it, and none of them did.
Guys, they're writing in Latin and they're writing in Greek. They're not writing in Hebrew.
So how would they?
They're not writing their commentaries in Hebrew. Mamed is a Hebrew word. Mamed is a Hebrew word. Nowhere do any of the fathers of the church, nowhere does any of the early Christians ever say that Mamed is a title for Jesus or means the Messiah. It doesn't exist. This is false,
And
guys. Look, no,
he needs to show it.
I have to say, guys, this is false. This whole slide, everything on this slide
Is
is
wrong.
100% false. 100% false. Everything is wrong. None of these people applied it to Jesus. None of them said it was the Messiah. Meaning applying the title or the name Mamed to Jesus. It doesn't exist.
So that's another question I'm asking. If you have 1 million people watching you, why are you making it up? What's the agenda? Why the word Mamed or Mamed to Muhammad and somehow link it to Arabic and somehow link it to Muhammad and somehow say it's about Jesus and then Muhammad didn't exist? For that reason, you make stuff up. We are Christians.
Yeah, and just to be clear on that point, again, J. Smith is presenting this, but whoever's doing his research
is lying.
Well, I don't know if they're lying. They're completely wrong, though. They're getting this information from I don't know where. Whoever told him that Saint Ambrose said Mamed. He said Mamed.
Yeah, he did write it.
Right? He said Mamed, MHMD, is considered a title for Jesus Christ the Messiah. Whoever told him that lied to him.
Well, 516 is Muhammadim anyway.
Yeah,
it's not Mamed.
Yeah, exactly. But first of all, guys, he wasn't writing in Hebrew, so
he wouldn't know either.
He wouldn't. Guys, most of the church fathers weren't able to read the Bible in Hebrew. They were reading it in Greek or they were reading it in Latin.
Someone lost respect for us because somebody else has a PhD in Islamic polemics. Then why is he lying about the church fathers?
No, okay, we're not going to say we're not saying he's, no, I'm going to say he's lying, but we're saying he's giving misinformation.
Okay, or whoever is telling him, look, my loyalty is not to PhDs. My loyalty is to the truth.
Yeah.
If someone's speaking to 1 million people and these 1 million people are taking it to Muslims and saying that our early Christians said that Mamed is related to Muhammad and it's actually a title for the Messiah, it's all wrong. It didn't happen. Is your loyalty to a PhD or is your loyalty to the truth?
Yeah, guys.
What's wrong? Are we not Christian?
Yeah, your loyalty is not to who has a PhD. I mean, if telling the truth hurts you, or maybe I don't know what it is that hurts you about this, or why you lost respect, that's between you and God, because J. Smith is teaching this. He said he's going around the world teaching this stuff. This is the information he's teaching to people,
and teaching to Christians.
And he's teaching it to Christians. He's teaching it to Christians, the people of God. If you don't have the zeal in your heart or the love in your heart for your brothers and your sisters, and you don't care if they're being told misinformation, then that's a problem between you and God. Okay? So you can lose respect all you want to. I mean, we don't want you to lose respect, but you can lose respect all you want to if we're telling the truth.
It's funny that he hasn't lost respect to actually the person who's saying wrong things. I would lose respect for someone who has a PhD, not J. Smith, because I don't know if he's been fed this by a researcher. But generally,
well, I was going to say this too.
Who says wrong things?
I have to say this too.
I expect better from PhDs.
Yeah, I have to say this as well. A PhD, someone who has a PhD knows how to research. So even if it's in a completely different field, you know how to research. You know the process. So you might have a PhD in history, but if someone presents you with some sort of information about another topic, you would at least know how to do the research. You know how to go about doing proper research. So Jay is not actually fact-checking this stuff. I mean, I'm giving him I'm being as gracious and as charitable as I can, that he's not fact-checking this stuff, and he's just taking it from his sources as they are, and he's taking it he's taking it as gospel from them. That's that's the best assumption I can make about him. Because worst case scenario, guys, it's really bad, because someone who knows how to research, again, you don't need to know the languages to know how to do research. Guys, anyone can look this up. Anyone look up.
Saint Ambrose.
Type in Google or ask ChatGPT. say, what languages did Saint Ambrose write in?
Or what language did he know?
What languages did he know? He didn't know Hebrew. He didn't write in Hebrew.
So how
he
would
never
he-
said Mamed. We don't even know if he read the word Mamed. He didn't know Hebrew. So
So you guys you guys don't care about someone misinformation about Saint Augustine, Saint Ambrose. You care less about them than you care about the other. What
Yeah.
do you care about? You do not care about your Christian history. Who said what?
yeah.
Do you care that these mistruths are being attributed to these great men?
Yeah. So, Ronald, if you hear us being condescending or something like that, that's coming from your end.
Yeah, that's
in
not us.
in our hearts. You listen to the beginning of the stream. We shared our hearts in the spirit that we're coming at the beginning of the stream. We have no animosity or nothing personal against Jay Smith. In fact, if you heard earlier, this is someone that we've communicated with, we've talked to. We have each other on WhatsApp. We've called each other before. Okay, so this is not someone that we're just like picking on someone and say, oh, let's just like attack this person because we don't like him. No, we love him. He's our brother. We respect him and honor him as an elder in the Lord. Unfortunately, he's teaching very bad information on a very large scale. He knows that people are doing responses to this, and he's okay with people doing responses.
Yeah, he told Jai before.
In the past,
he's fine with it.
He's fine with responses. Okay, so
you're the only ones who are actually being sensitive about it.
So if you
an academic and a researcher cares about being corrected, and
guys,
he said he didn't mind.
Guys, I don't look down on Muslims when Muslims who say, oh, the Arabic doesn't say that, and then I say, no, this is what the Arabic says. I don't look down on them as a non-Christian. I don't look down on a Muslim and say, oh, you don't know the Arabic. I don't look down on them. So if I don't look down on even a Muslim, and I just say like, oh, you're lying or this or that, why would I do it with my own brother in the Lord? Like these are the kind of accusations that unfortunately that Jay was making earlier against David Wood.
Like, you just take this position for money.
Yeah. So people who use knowledge to bash other people with it or talk down on other people, that's a sin. And that's not you can't see our hearts. You don't know our hearts. We know our hearts. You don't know how much we prayed, guys.
Before we started this,
guys,
we knew the cult of personalities will come out.
But let me just say this too, though, guys. We did a lot of praying on this, and this is not. We didn't just like wake up, yesterday after the debate and then just decide, oh, let's do a review on it. This has been something that we've been following for a while,
for years.
And there are people that we highly respect, that we consider as elders, and we look up to, and they encouraged us to do this.
Right.
And so even after they encouraged us to do this, we took time and we prayed and we prayed and we prayed. And after praying, we felt a peace from God. We felt God saying, this is the time. Now is the time, because he just had a debate on it yesterday. Now is the time. And that's when we decided to do it, because we felt like that is what the Lord led us to do. So this is not coming from a place of, oh, he thinks he knows this. And we're not, guys. You guys know us. I know, like I said at the beginning of the stream, a lot of these people aren't going to know us. They don't know us. And they're just going to judge based off of the fact, like, we're doing something against, what Jay Smith is teaching, and they're going to be defensive about that. But for those of you guys who know us, that that's not the spirit we come in. Again, even with Muslims, unbelievers, we don't talk to them that way. So forget about a brother and elder in the Lord who we love and respect. We love and respect everybody, but especially the family of God. We have a special love for, a special care for, a special respect for. So people who know us, they know that these accusations are false. But a lot of people are just coming in for the first time listening to us, Jay Smith fans, etc. Guys, just take the information, research it, and if you can't do the language research yourself, then
that would be great.
It'd be great if you could do it yourself, but
you can at least research the church fathers and the Christian figures the historical Christian figures that he put on a slide and pretended that they said something they didn't.
Yeah.
You guys, we have been debating whether or not to call these things out for years, and we kept waiting for him to rein it in, waiting for him to correct, waiting, and Jai actually had conversations with him where
some years ago I had a conversation with him. Yeah.
And Dr. Jay Smith said, I'm happy for you to do a response. I'll respond to your response. He took it in like the academic spirit, you say your piece, I'll say I respond, etc. So the reason we're now bringing it to the surface is because now it's become like a cult. No one's checking this information. People are lay people, normal people who just go to their work, come back home. They don't know, they don't research. They just leave it to us, right? They leave it to people like Jay Smith and us and other big people in this to do the research for them, and they just take it. There's a more than 1 million people who just watch just that on the screen. 1 million.
Guys, 1.2 million.
And they're happy going to their Muslim friends and family, telling them this stuff. A Google search will tell, any Muslim can Google this stuff, because they'll say Mamed, and find out it's false. Simple Google search. And you don't care about these million people who put their trust in him, but you don't want us to correct him publicly. These people who are going to be called names by Muslims and be called jahils and ignorance. Oh, you don't even know your own Christian history. No one, St. Ambrose didn't say that. How would you feel if it was you, who you take his word, J. Smith's word, you go to your Muslim friend does a quick Google search on St. Ambrose. Oh, the guy didn't even know that language that said Mamed. How are you gonna feel? You're gonna feel
embarrassed.
That's our job.
You're gonna feel lied to. You're gonna feel lied to
because you were being lied to, whether knowingly or not.
We're not saying Jay Smith's lying about this. We're saying whoever fed him this information is false information, but he's presenting misinformation. But you are gonna feel lied to because you're like, I trusted this guy, because people are saying like he's got a PhD, he's been doing this for years. So because someone has a PhD or they've been doing this for years,
you should say thank you to someone correcting.
You should, you just, I mean, again, guys, you have to be like the Bereans.
That's it.
You have to be like the Bereans. You have to go back and check the scriptures. Go back and check. Look and check and research the facts.
And same for us. Don't take our word for it. We always bring sources. And we're not great PhD academics. We always bring sources because we know Muslims are like, show me, prove to me. Look at his slide on the screen. Where is his source for Oregon? Where is his source for St. Ambrose? Where is his source for Gregory? Where is his source for St. Augustine?
It doesn't exist. Like that. This is where we can't put something on the screen to show you, because we love to bring evidences and proof. You just can't put something on the screen because they didn't say it. None of these people said this. It's a complete fabrication. All right.
And if you don't like it,
complain to Jay Smith, not to us.
Complain to the one who fabricated it.
Yeah.
Or bring us the evidence that he's true.
Yeah.
Because
so
like it's the same thing with Muslims. They feel bad. They feel bad at the person. They blame the person who brings them the truth instead of blaming the person who taught them wrong.
Yeah, but of course there's a mixed reaction in the chat as well. A lot of people are saying that they do feel lied to, because a lot of people just took what Jay Smith said. And so we're doing this for you guys as our brothers and sisters. Like, we don't benefit from this other than we're trying to be faithful to the Lord. And we know if something is false, it's being spread on a mass level. We're trying to dismantle and disarm that false information. Again, he might actually have a great argument that Muhammad didn't exist, but these are not the arguments to use, because these are false information.
And to be honest about it, now that I've seen that he's not true, he's not right about these Christian figures.
That's another thing I was going to say too.
How do I trust that now when he tells me Muhammad didn't exist?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, because if it's the same
level of research,
lack thereof, of just like a few years ago, I was all excited about Petra and Muhammad was in Petra, but now, he doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I wanted to comment on that as well.
What happened to that?
So this is the area that we do know about. Okay, we know about the languages, the linguistics. We know about that. We don't know about the history,
we don't know
or
about the coins.
Whether about the coins or these or those things. So, but what you take away from this is, and this is kind of what I was trying to show from the beginning, which is like the rhetoric that he uses. Anyone can see that that's rhetoric that people use when they don't have arguments or they don't have evidence to back up. Because usually you just let the evidence speak, or the argument speak. It's very rare that someone has like a brilliant argument or brilliant evidence, and then they have to be like all this, rhetoric on top of it, and like put people down, say that they have bad motives, say that they're, bad intentions.
Yeah, we're not reading his intentions.
So,
but I expected better from an academic. To be honest, I expected sources on the screen.
But this is what I'm trying to say, is that it's like, let's say someone's doing some sort of research, and let's say that you yourself, like you listening to this, let's say you are, I don't know, you're a physicist, about physics. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you are, maybe there's someone out there who's a physicist and you're listening. Okay. And now imagine someone out there is making these like really, big claims and being very like big claims and big sensation. That's the word. Thank you. That's what I was thinking about. Sensational claims and things like that. And they're talking about like areas of history, and they're talking about languages and things like that. And let's say you don't really know too much about that. Then let's say they mention physics,
and they're good at
and
wrong.
they got it completely wrong.
I'm not going to trust anything.
So
else.
you know, as a physicist, you know that they're completely wrong. You're not saying that they're a liar necessarily. You're just saying, look, whatever they're saying about this topic that I know about, they're 100% wrong on, and I know that they're wrong about that. I don't know the other topics to be able to tell if they're wrong on those or not. So that's why we lean on people like Raymond Ibrahim. Raymond Ibrahim, he's the historian. So when it comes to historical things, we lean on him and we say, hey, this is what he's saying about the history. We trust what Raymond Ibrahim says. We trust what he says on the history. Now, when it comes to the languages, this is something that we know, and we're telling you guys that for 100% fact that this is false what he's saying. What he said about Arabic is false, and what he said about Hebrew was. He's going to get into, it's going to get worse with the Hebrew. I want to show you guys it gets worse. But the areas that it makes us trust him less on the areas that we don't know.
Yeah, like history now, I'm not taking anything history he said, even if he's right, which is sad, because now he showed me that he pretended to know Arabic and he didn't. It's
like you're the physicist who knows that they're saying wrong things about physics. You don't know like the history stuff, but now you don't really trust him in that area either.
Yeah.
So, okay, here we go. But anyone can look this up, guys. You don't need to be a specialist or expert or anything to look up. Just look up Saint Ambrose. Google his name.
And see if he knew what Mamed was.
He didn't write in Aramaic. He didn't write in Syriac. He didn't write in Hebrew. He wrote in Latin. He knew probably Greek, Latin. These fathers, they know Greek and Latin. Origen is the one exception. He's one of the rare early Christians who knew Hebrew, but he didn't write anything in Hebrew, like commentaries. There's transliterations that he did, but nothing commentaries. He never said Mamed is Jesus.
Yeah, you don't need to know any extra languages beside English to check, and you will find out this slide is completely false.
Look up Saint Augustine. What language did he write in? Look up Saint John Cassian. What language did he write in? Okay, Greek. You're going to find they spoke Greek. They spoke Latin. None of them said Mamed, which is a Hebrew word. None of them wrote in Hebrew.
And none of them said it was a title for Jesus.
Because guess what, guys? In the Latin Vulgates and in the Greek Septuagint, they're not. If it was a name, if Mamed is the name, which as we pointed out a million times, it's not Mamed, it's Mahamedim. But if it was Mamed and it was a name, then they would at least transliterate it into Latin and transliterate it into Greek.
Did they?
They didn't. They translated it. Just like when you were reading it earlier from the Arabic Bible, they translated it.
Yeah.
They didn't just so okay, let's continue on.
All right.
Continued that idea in the late 4th century. St. John Cassian continued that in the 5th century. St. Augustine, the great church father, continued that in the 5th century. And then Apollonius, in the middle of the 7th century, also believed that this Mamed was Jesus Christ.
All 100% false. Every single thing that he says here is false. False, false, false. There's no evidence for this whatsoever. Nothing at all.
Nice. Conclusion, the title Mamed, not the name Mamed, the title Mamed, was a common title for Jesus by the 7th century in the church in that part of the world, especially in Arabic.
Nope.
In Arabic?
No, it was in Masih.
Yeah.
It was never, I've never heard Mamed as for the Arab Christians. Research it. No one ever called Jesus Christ Mamed.
No, it doesn't.
No Arab Christians
exist
in that time or at any other time ever called Jesus Christ Mamed. No, nobody.
So this is, guys, completely false.
If they did, I would have expected an academic to give me a historical source where an Arab Christian at the time or around that time called Jesus Christ Mamed. This is wrong, you guys.
And sadly, guys, he's teaching this to millions of people. He's teaching it around the world to Christians. He mentioned that there's Christians in Africa he's going to, Christians in South America that he's going to. He's going all around the world teaching this stuff. This is what he's teaching. And he's equipping them with false information. This is dangerous. It's not good. Not good.
For people in the chat who are saying, yes, they did, I want the source, the historical source, please. For any Arab Christian who called Jesus Mamed.
Who's saying yes? Someone said yes?
Someone said yes. Yes, they did.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I want the source, please, DI. I want the source.
DI, so...
From the 300 ADs of any Arab Christian calling Jesus Christ Mamed.
Yeah, this is...
Or Mamed.
Yeah.
Okay? I want to
So-
know.
So yeah, please give us that source. It doesn't exist. But
Give us
most
the
likely,
source.
again, guys, most likely it's just one of someone who's more loyal to Jay Smith than they are to the truth,
Yeah.
and that's very unfortunate because I would hope that Jay even would say, "Don't be more loyal to me than the truth." I would hope he would say that. But because he's changed his theories many times over the years. He used to teach one thing, then teaches something else, teaches something else, teaches something else.
See,
So
Mamed is Christ.
yeah.
Really? I want the source, and ask Jay Smith himself why he never put any sources for what he's claiming.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Mamed is not Christ. Mamed
So-
doesn't exist.
Yeah,
It doesn't. In Arabic, it doesn't.
yeah, Sunu. There's no source for that at all. There's no source for that whatsoever. So you can say that all you want to. We have to get to the.
Yeah, there's someone saying it's correct here. Arabic root from Muhammad is from Hamada, which means to praise. Correct.
Yeah,
That's it.
we discussed that.
We
But yeah.
discussed that before. Nothing else.
Okay.
It's not a title or anything.
which took it from Aramaic. So we should not be surprised when we find it written in many places at that time. It's written all over the place. That's why we find Mamed after Mamed after Mamed. But it's not just the Christians, the Jews also used that title in Hebrew. If you have any doubt, just take a look at this inscription from 523. This is a good 100 years before Muhammad even came in, when Muhammad died. And this is a 6th century Jewish rock inscription in what is today Yemen. It's there in Najran. And it is translated by the Lord of the Jews by the Mamed. The Mamed in Semitic script,
Yeah. Again, so this is another thing he's completely false. It doesn't say Mamed. He actually has it right here, MHMD. So why is he reading it as Mamed? We gave so many different combinations of how you can read it. Semitic, you can also do this very similar thing that we did with the Arabic consonants and Arabic vowels. Many different combinations for that. And so I want to just give you guys an example here. So 1 second. So we'll go. Let me just have him finish the point, and then we'll go to the.
just putting it out to you. You can see it there in Semitic script. This is not the Arabic script that we see in the Quran. This is the Semitic script that comes from Yemen. It is Arabic, but it's not the same script. Isn't that interesting? But look at the term Mamed that is used there by the Jews. So let's.
Okay. So on that point, we're gonna go. 1 second. So we'll go to this tweet right here. So this is making the same point that we were making. Either it doesn't need to be Muhammad. It could be many different vocalizations. This is what some scholars are saying.
Mahmoud, or
But it can be
Muhammad.
many different things.
Yeah.
But look what this scholar here says. He's someone who is a PhD. Look, a PhD in early Islam and then antiquity, historical linguistics. And he says MHMD does occur at least in one Semitic inscription, which is Jay's showing. But as Marianne points out, we don't know how the word should be vocalized. We don't know. We don't know how it should be vocalized.
So it's not
And-
actually Mahmed or Muhammad or anything, any of that.
So and so to say that it's a title for the Messiah or what he's saying, I'm going to show you guys how we can know that that is 100% false based off of what he's about to say next. So watch this. Watch this.
All right.
And this is another thing. Again, like you think like people like Jay Smith's, anyone in the audience, like this is something that he's bringing up that it sounds sensational. It sounds like wow, but who's actually gonna, we just hope, guys, that you just if you follow Jay Smith, and let's say that you're listening to this, I know there's people who might listen to him and might listen to us, and you're just kind of open and you're like, okay, I want to go where the evidence leads. That's all we're asking. Just go where the evidence leads. You're not going to find any scholar, anyone who knows these topics, going to agree with anything that Jay was just saying that we commented on.
Can I just ask the Christian something? I'm a new Christian. I've only been Christian a few years. If Mamed was such a big title for the Lord Jesus Christ and spoken about by lots of church fathers, why are we only hearing about this now? Isn't this a red flag to you guys? That no one has ever discovered this until now? Only Dr. J. Smith has now discovered that Mamed is a title for the Messiah. How come how come we've never heard it from anyone before him?
You guys have probably seen like people who have like blankets or posters or whatever. It says like Jesus, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the Word, the Truth,
The door,
the life, the
narrow way.
Right. So this is something that Christians have done Christians have done. They put the titles of Jesus all over the place all the time.
How come it's
Has
not?
anyone ever put Mamed?
Nope. And we've got Christians from all over the world, including ones that can speak Hebrew. How come he's not called the Mamed?
Yeah.
By anyone.
No, Mamed doesn't exist. This doesn't exist in any Syriac-speaking church, any Aramaic-speaking church. This, again, I don't know if you got this from J. Smith or not, but the idea that Mamed exists in Aramaic doesn't exist. You guys, these churches exist today. You can go to an Assyrian church. You can go to a Syriac-speaking church. You can go to a Maronite church. They speak Aramaic as well. You can go to Chaldean church. You can go to these churches still exist today. People still speak Aramaic today. You're not going to hear Mamed.
Do they sing?
You're not going to hear Mamed.
Do they sing to Jesus, call him Mamed in their songs?
It doesn't exist.
Do they call him Mamed in their sermons?
Yeah.
According to J. Smith, they've been calling him Mamed since the since the 4th century.
Yeah,
Guys, it's wrong.
I appreciate Daniel's comments here, Daniel Apologetics. I appreciate the comment here because like we're on the same page. We actually started by saying that like about the Mecca, the Quran, and all these things that Jay has done. We were like, wow, this is really great information, really great research. But now coming out with this stuff against Muhammad, like the arguments he's using, we're like, man, this is like you said, it's not so good, not so good. So
someone says, so if I call Jesus Mamed, am I wrong? All it means is a precious thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or does it even exist?
I mean,
it just means a precious thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just means a precious thing.
So Jesus is a precious thing?
Yeah.
I mean, you can say he's full of precious things, like it says in the Hebrew.
Nothing of what Jay is saying here is true, though. Like, you don't have any church fathers calling him Mamed. It just doesn't exist.
And we know the reason J. Smith is doing that. He's trying to appropriate it to Muhammad and try and say that Muhammad is somehow linked to it. He is not.
Exactly.
That's all. Like, we know the agenda here is to link it to Arabic somehow to the word that sounds similar, Muhammad, and saying actually they meant Jesus all along. No, they didn't. The Muslims by Muhammad did not mean Jesus. And Jesus was never called Mamed.
Yeah.
All right.
In fact, well, anyway, I don't need to get into that, but let's go.
Show you a quick synopsis. Mamed means the praised one, or the blessed one, or the anointed one.
It doesn't mean the blessed one.
And it doesn't mean the anointed one.
It doesn't mean and what language is he talking about here? Because none of these meanings exist in the Hebrew or in the rhetoric that he showed earlier. None of these exist in so the meaning to have praise, that only exists in the Arabic roots, possibly in an Aramaic dialect called Mandaic, possibly. But other than those two, and Mandaic is just a possibility, it only has the meaning of for example, the word in the 10th commandment is do not covet. Do not covet.
Mm-hmm.
Lo tachmod. Tachmod. It comes from that same root. Lo tachmod. Do not covet. So it's about coveting, desiring, wanting for something precious to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same root. Lo tachmod means do not covet. It's the 10th commandment. So what he's saying here is if he's talking about Hebrew, this is all false too. Only one of these applies in one language, possibly. Only in Hebrew, only in Arabic, really. This meaning of the praised one, or it's really not. It's not even the praised one. It's the the much praised one.
Yeah, and it's Muhammad.
It's an intense form.
But even the praised one is Muhammad.
Yeah,
it's not Mamed.
Not Mamed.
Not Mamed. Mamed doesn't exist in Arabic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Let's go.
And it definitely doesn't mean the Messiah.
Or even the Messiah later on. So it's not a name. It's not a name, folk. It's a title. It was used in Ugaritic in 1400 BC, borrowed by the Jews in Hebrew in 1000 BC. That's why you have it 11 times in our Bible. It was
again all false.
Yeah, we've covered it all.
We covered this all.
Watch
Watch what he says here, though, guys. Listen to this.
subsequently employed by St. Ambrose in the 4th century as a title for Jesus Christ. The Jews also referred to it in their reference, and what was interesting, by the 7th century, the Jews started using that title for their exilarchs. The exilarchs were those who were in charge of the seminary in what is today Baghdad. Arabic. So they have all been speaking Arabic, and they had always put Mamed before their name.
Guys,
Did they?
He's saying that Jews would put Mamed before their name.
Really?
Listen to what he says here.
Mamed ben Huziel.
Mamed ben Oziel. Okay, I'm just gonna show you guys. We're gonna just quickly just look these phrases up.
Oh,
I
wow.
want to show you. I want to show you first of all. If I put I'm gonna go back to this dictionary here. I mean this online library for Hebrew. I'm putting in. This is Mashiach ben David. Mashiach ben David means the Messiah, son of David. It appears 1,343 times, right,
Okay.
across Jewish libraries, and it shows, these are all the different sources, Jewish texts that it has, all in Hebrew. Okay, all in Hebrew. Okay, this is the Messiah, son of David. Just to give you guys an example.
Mhm.
All right. Now, if I want to put another title in here, I'm going to put another title in here. Hamelech HaMashiach, the King Messiah.
Mhm.
Or sorry, it's not Hamelech. It should be Melech HaMashiach. There's a typo here.
Mhm.
I don't know why they have it like that. It's not Hamelech. It's Melech HaMashiach, the King Messiah,
Mhm.
or Hamelech HaMashiach. You can do that as well. Actually, it's right here. There's the Ha and Ha. Hamelech HaMashiach. So the king, the messianic king, the King Messiah.
What about the Mamed thing that I was talking about?
So I'm going to get to that. So look how many times. 4,330 times
Okay.
it appears.
Mhm.
Okay. Now he says that this is the title that Jews use. He used the title Mamed ben Oziel. Let me have him play it one more time. Mamed ben Oziel. That's what he said. That's what he said.
All been speaking Arabic, and they had always put Mamed before their name. Mamed ben Huziel.
Mamed ben Oziel. Okay.
He said always.
No. Yeah. Always. He said always. No.
Wow.
Watch this now. When I type in Mamed ben Oziel, you only get one hit. But guess what?
Mhm.
It's not saying Mamed ben Oziel. What is it saying? It's saying that it was said by Yonatan ben Oziel,
So-
meaning the one who wrote the Targum. He translated a word as Mamed.
Oh wow.
So I can imagine now. So if he does have a researcher for Hebrew and his researcher typed this in or something like that, this guy is not reliable. Get rid of that Hebrew. Get rid of that Hebrew reference. Whoever you have as a Hebrew reference. There's nothing. Look, guys, it doesn't appear anywhere. Mamed ben Oziel doesn't appear anywhere in the Hebrew library.
Only the Oziel part.
No, just Yonatan ben Oziel. He's the one who wrote the Targum. So you guys might have heard of the Targums. They're Aramaic translations and paraphrases into the Hebrew Bible into Aramaic. So this is Ibn Ezra saying that it was said by basically the Targum, Yonatan ben Oziel, Mamed, meaning like this particular word, Maziz, what Maziz is translated as Mamed in the Targum. So this is not a name or a title. He's saying that this is how it was translated into the Targum. That for Isaiah chapter 66, verse 11, you go to the Targum, it uses the word Mamed. So it's not a name, it's not a title. Now watch this now. Watch this. He says something else now. He says Mamed ben Oziel doesn't exist.
Mamed ben David.
Mamed ben David. One more time.
Put Mamed before their name. Mamed ben Huziel. Mamed ben David.
Mamed ben David. It would actually be Mamed ben David. Guess
Okay.
how many times that appears, guys, in the dictionary? Sorry, in the online library that we have access to.
Yeah, can you guess? And again, he doesn't put the proof on the screen, which would have been helpful.
0. Mamed ben David. Mamed ben David.
0.
Guys, it appears 0 times. No Jew uses as a title for any of their names anywhere and at any time. This is a
Wow.
complete fabrication.
So he just made it up.
I'm so close to saying it's a lie because I'm just getting a little like
Who's
tired
telling,
right
who's,
now.
Who's telling him
But
this?
whoever told him this lied to him. Or okay, I can't say that either. I gotta be careful.
Okay, whoever told
Whoever
him, is
told him that
mistaken.
is mistaken. But this is not true. Mamed ben David appears the guys. This is called Safaria.org. Safaria is the Hebrew word meaning library.
Mhm.
I mean like mektaba, like it means a library.
Mhm.
And this is the biggest database you're gonna find in Hebrew and in English bilingual. Of course, there's like sole Hebrew ones that are very extensive and very large, maybe even bigger than this. But this is the one that I can show you that has English as well. It doesn't exist at all. There's no Mamed ben David. Doesn't exist at all. Anyone who knows Hebrew anyone who can read Hebrew, this is Mamed, this is Ben, and this is David. Mamed, Ben, David, it appears 0 times. Now, what did Jay say? One more time.
That they always use Mamed as the title.
Always put Mamed before their name. Mamed ben Huziel. Mamed ben David.
There's no Mamed ben Oziel. There's no Mamed ben David. What else?
Mamed ben everyone. They have
Mamed ben everyone. Guys, there's no Mamed ben anything in any Jewish source relating to what he's talking about.
Wow. Why? Why?
Guys,
why?
This is,
why are you doing this?
It's a complete falsehood.
Why?
It doesn't exist.
Why, Dr. Smith? Why?
It doesn't exist.
Yo. So the Arabic flops and the Hebrew flops. So why are we doing this? Why, Dr. Smith? Why?
So let's see how he finishes up here.
5 different exilarchs where they put Mamed before the name, the praised one, the anointed one.
It doesn't mean he's talking about Hebrew, and he's saying it means the praise. It doesn't mean the praised one. It doesn't mean the anointed one in Hebrew.
It was a
Actually, it doesn't mean the anointed one in any language.
Title of endearment.
He said the title of endearment. Guys, it doesn't exist at all in any database. Anyone who writes in Hebrew, I mean, I know, like, especially people who, if you guys go to AP streams or David streams, there's a lot of Jewish people that go to their streams because ever since October 7th, when they've been following the war and everything like that, they've been getting a big following, big following from Jewish people. Go to their chat, ask them, say, guys, is there any Mamed in your, like, Mamed ben so-and-so, Mamed ben so-and-so? It doesn't exist.
Wow.
It doesn't exist. So whoever is telling them this information is misleading him, intentionally or unintentionally. They're misleading him. And I'm sorry to say, I can say it like this, though, that Jay Smith is unintentionally, I'm going to say that, be as charitable as I can, unintentionally misleading people. He's misleading people. Okay? And that's wrong. This information is wrong. It's false.
Of authority, of credibility. Well used in Arabic and Aramaic by the 7th century.
Look how authoritatively he says that.
Mamed doesn't exist in Arabic.
And it doesn't exist with any of those meanings that he just applied it to in Hebrew either, or Aramaic.
It's not well used and well known. Mamed or Mamed, whichever one, does not exist in Arabic. It's not well used anywhere. And we know the language of the 7th century. We've got the Quran. And we got the full Islamic and Arabic tradition. And we've got Arab and Muslim scholars. I've never heard that word Mamed or Mamed anywhere.
Yeah.
And I know Arabic dictionaries. Please don't say this stuff.
So groovy granny. Okay, so again, we're coming in the spirit of 1 Timothy 5 with you, because you know your name is Granny. This is completely false. Whoever told you this, they said, oh, sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, she's right.
You're right. I'm so sorry.
She's right, Groovy Granny.
No, Groovy Granny, you're completely right. You're completely right.
Jai's upset because
my eyes are deceiving me. I'm so sorry, Groovy Granny. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you're completely right in your comment here. I thought you were saying that they do use it. I was going to ask you for evidence. I wasn't going to like come after you. They do not use it. So I'm really sorry for that. Yeah, you're completely right about that. You are right. Jews do not use the Mamed as a. Thank you, and maybe Groovy Granny is Jewish. Because but thank you so much. I apologize for the friendly misfire there.
You guys, Jai's a linguist. This really upsets him a lot.
Yeah, I just you guys can see, like, we're almost gone for like 2 hours and 40 minutes almost. My eyes are just getting a little tired. I really apologize for that. But,
you got clobbered by Granny, and we apologize to her. You see, it's not about ego. Granny is correct this time. Granny is correct, and Jay Smith is wrong.
Yeah,
I have to say, and I'm a Christian,
and I misread her comment. I do apologize for that. I really am sorry.
You see how we don't care for whose name and whose PhD.
Oh, she's Scottish. Okay.
If somebody's right, even if she's a granny, she's right. We're Christian.
Yeah.
And if somebody's wrong, even if he's a doctor, PhD, then he's still wrong.
I was gonna say because after I just showed like the library, I was gonna say if someone said like they do say that, I was looking for comments because from Jay Smith's followers, like it's like he can say that he could say that the sky
It's green.
is purple, and then someone in the
And it
someone,
has always been green.
yeah,
And you find in the 4th century they've said it
and
was
someone
green.
one of his followers will defend it. So I do apologize for misreading your comment. But yeah, you are 100% right. There's no use of MHMD for anyone in Judaism. That's complete fabrication and it's false. So let's go.
Thus, by the 7th century, the Christians used Mamed to refer to the returning Messiah, while the
No one ever used to refer to the returning Messiah.
Jews used Mamed to refer to the Messiah yet to come. And
They never did that. Guys, this is not true. None of this is everything on the screen here. Let me check. Everything. Okay, unless you're saying MHMD, the praise one, unless you're saying that's for Arabic.
No, it's not. He's saying Jews.
Then everything here
No, he's
is
saying Jews.
false. Everything here is
He says
false.
Jews, not Arabs. But Arabs didn't use Mamed for the returning Messiah either.
Yeah.
Neither one. I can confirm
Yeah.
Arabs didn't use the word Mamed or Mahmed for a returning Messiah, and you can confirm Jews because I don't know about Jews.
Yeah, well, I can confirm the Hebrew. I don't know everything about Judaism, but I do know that I can just look in databases and look at libraries. Anyone can do this, by the way. Like, we're not like special where we can just like we have like special knowledge or access to things that you guys don't have access to. If you guys want to do the research, you guys don't trust us, then just get someone who knows the languages or just learn the alphabet. You don't even need to learn a language, just learn the alphabet and then do the research. I'm going to tell you, 100% you're going to find out that what Jason is saying is wrong.
Or just respectfully ask Dr. Smith for the source of any Jew who referred to this return.
I want to see Mamed ben David. I want to see Mamed ben Oziel. I want to see Mamed ben from, like he said, they always use it.
And I want to see Mamed as the returning Messiah from any Jewish source.
Guys, it just doesn't exist.
Just ask him. Just ask him.
Doesn't
Don't
exist.
take our word for it. Ask for a source. It won't be there. That's why it's all typed on a slide, on a PowerPoint slide, and with no source.
and at times interchanged it with the Messiah. Conclusion, therefore, the term Mamed was well known in that part of the world and at that time, but it was not pronounced Muhammad like you do today. That is how we now pronounce it. And there lies the confusion that Raymond's having. And same with you, Abdul. I can see you're confused now as well.
Yeah, everybody's
Everybody's confused because that word Mamed doesn't exist in either language. It doesn't exist.
Boy.
So, folks, knowing that, let's now look and see exactly.
So if his foundations are wrong, now he's going to move on to the other points. I just can't trust what else he has to say. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't trust what else he has to say. The things that I know about, that I know for a fact he's wrong on, the things that I don't know about, I just don't trust him on. Now, I'm not saying that it's an impossibility that he's correct on, but for the history, like I said, we'll rely on Raymond Ibrahim. We'll say him for the history.
We don't need lessons in Arabic. Arabic is a third world language. Deal with the well-researched argument. His argument
is based on Arabic.
Yeah.
So Ronald, so here's a perfect example. Here's a perfect example. So Ronald has been here, and you've been here for quite a while. So
yeah,
I mean, respect you for at least being here. I don't know if you're listening at all, but like at least you're here. You're hearing us out. Now you might have to go back and listen because maybe you're just angry typing and you're not listening. But if you don't need lessons in Arabic, and Arabic's a third world language, you're trying to make like some. So that's basically this is like someone who has their loyalty to Jay Smith, not to the truth. Why do I say that? Because Jay Smith's argument is based on the Arabic and the Hebrew. Misunderstandings of Arabic for sure, misunderstandings of Hebrew for sure, but you don't know the language. You're admitting here you don't know the language, so you don't know the language. You're saying you don't need the language. How are you able to determine anything about the truthfulness of this?
Why don't you tell Dr. J. Smith, forget Arabic? I would love for him to stop talking about Arabic because he gets it wrong every time. If you don't think it matters, tell Dr. J. Smith not to use it in his argument because he loses the Arabs in the room. And any unfortunate Arab that he might be speaking to, or anyone that takes his material to an Arab and say, Mamed is this and that. If you don't think it's important, you think it's third world and obvious sort of, I don't know if the word racism is correct. This is a language of a lot of people, and a lot of them don't know Jesus.
Yeah. Thank God. I thank God that we can speak this third world language, so we can, by God's grace, we try to reach out to people in this third world language to try to,
third world people are still made in the image of God.
Yeah, and third world people still need Jesus,
and and Jesus still died for the third world, if you call it that.
And by the way, Arabic and Hebrew are sister languages. So if you're saying Arabic is third world language, what are you saying about Hebrew? It's a sister language. So
Maybe he thinks it's third world too.
I don't know. Maybe he just maybe. So anyway, as the comment is pointing out, yeah, he's been disrespecting us a lot. I see there's a lot of like Jay Smith people who are more loyal to him than to the truth, and they're just insulting. I'm not really like those people. I know that those ones are hard to reach. I'm more trying to reach like the general audience. Like there is a person who listens to Jay Smith who like is not like whatever he says, I'm just gonna accept no matter what. There's someone who like I just know that there's people who are listening to him who just want to know the evidence, they want to know the truth. And sure, he's got some really interesting theories. And like I said, he might even have a case that Muhammad doesn't exist. We haven't heard it yet, but he might have a great case for that in the future. But this is not it. These linguistic arguments are not it.
Some people
and thank you.
Even though it's a third world.
Thank you.
A language, they wanna hear it. Just the from what I've seen from the diehard fans in our chat, the spirit and the insults with which they speak tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
It tells me that they're not following truth, because the truth doesn't need to insult. The truth stands on itself. To bring out truth, we brought lexicons, we brought search tools, we brought the languages that Jay Smith brought forward. And
Scott,
even
that ain't it.
and even church fathers, even the church fathers weren't safe from the mistruths.
Misrepresenting church fathers. Imagine.
And you don't care about these saints that died for the faith. You care about someone who's saying wrong things about them.
Guys, you should have
where's your loyalty?
Have a zeal for the fathers of the church fathers, the saints that are being misrepresented. Have a zeal for them. Don't have a zeal for just personalities. You know, it's like, again, we come at this as looking at Jay Smith as a brother, as an elder in the Lord. We love him. We're trying to be as respectful as we can throughout this. And you know, someone was saying earlier, like, oh, you guys are giving ammunition to the Dawa bros. Hey, if any of the Dawa guys want to clip this and show how what we do is anything comparable to what Daniel and Farid and Jake do, I'd love to see the video. I'd love to see the video from one of those guys saying, look at the Christians fighting each other. Like, if you can show us, like, calling them out of their names, like how these guys do.
Okay, first of all, Dawa wars, they talk about,
actually, why don't we
they talk about women and hotel rooms.
But this is a good time.
It's a different level. We're talking about languages and manuscripts and history. So even if we as Christians disagree, we're not talking about women and masks in the hotel room. So let's just start there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to. We have a couple verses we want to share with you guys, but one of the ones that I really want to start with here is Proverbs 27, verse 5. Proverbs 27, verse 5. And let God be true and every man a liar. Okay, because this is what God's word says. Let God be true and every man a liar. This is what God's word said. Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. So a secret love, like, and in other words, you have so much loyalty to this person more than you do to the truth. That's not good for them, or it's not good for you. The word of God, I don't care what anyone says, the word of God says open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. So I know that there is a cross between a lot of, like, people who watch Jay Smith and some people who watch us as well. I know, like, especially like the Indonesians, there's a big Indonesian community, and we love our brothers and sisters in Indonesia, and we know that they take Jay's stuff very seriously. And partially we're doing this video for you guys, this stream for you guys, because we know that you guys don't necessarily have the tools to be able to research everything, because you guys are so busy. You guys have so much they're doing. They're building churches. Their ex-Muslims are happening all the time in Indonesia, the Indonesian church and everything. It's growing. So they don't necessarily have the time to do all this research, all this stuff. So we're just kind of, to them and for all of our other brothers and sisters, out of our love for all of you, that's why we're doing this, because we don't want you to be misled. So to our brothers and sisters in Christ, we don't want you to be misled. And this information that we just saw from Jay Smith, this is misleading information. So we don't want you to be misled by this information, and then you present it to somebody else, and then they find out that they've been misled,
And then call you a liar.
and then you found out you're misled, and that could be a big crisis. Like,
Yeah.
because you trust this guy so much, and then you find out that it's not true. It might be to a crisis. I mean, God forbid. But I want to say also for the non-Christians, any non-Christians who are watching this, I hope that, I mean, I don't know if they're Muslims or who they are, but I hope you can see the difference in how Muslims treat each other, and how these guys will kill each other, and like they'll blow up each other's mosque and kill each other and do all this stuff, crazy stuff, and how Christians can disagree with each other and still love each other. Hope that you can see the difference. And for the Muslims, and for any of the non-Christians who are watching, and I'm going to hand it to Daughter of Christ, we're going to go through some Bible verses. We're doing this for you as well, as a service to say that we know this information is false, and we don't want you guys to just throw everything all Christians say under the bus, or say get rid of everything Christians say, because some people who might have loud voices are making, like, don't throw everything out. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? So that's my message for the Christians and for the non-Christians. Like, we're doing this out of love for you all in different ways. But we don't want anyone to just throw out and we don't even want you guys to throw out everything Jay said. We're just saying this particular area in this argument, don't use this information. I don't have the time to go through all of his other stuff, but from what I've seen, there's a lot of misinformation in there too. But this is stuff that I do know about, and yeah. So that's what I want to say for the brothers and sisters in Christ, and then for those outside the Lord. That's my message to you all.
To the Christians, everyone who tells you things, especially if they seem way out there, if they seem the first time you've ever heard it, like, oh, I've been a Christian decades and I've never heard that he's called Mamed. Ask for the source. If it's a historical,
be a Berean.
If it's a historical source, ask for the source. If it's a language that you don't know, ask the speakers of that language. Okay? And also for the Christians listening, do you want to be called a liar? Because you take false information to a Muslim or even a Hebrew person who's, a Jew who hasn't followed the Lord Jesus, and they tell you it's wrong, they will call you the liar. We are here trying to prevent Christians from being called liars because they just trust information without checking. That's number one. Number two, the Muslim Arabs that are listening to me, now you know that our loyalty is to truth, not to brothers. Even respected brothers that have been in the field decades and years, who we still love and respect. I want you to see that our loyalty is truth. And you know that what we would have said is true in Arabic. And if you knew Hebrew, you would have known that it's true in Hebrew. Or Aramaic, if you know these languages. You now know. So you have no excuse before the Lord.
Oh, I do have to say, we've consulted with Aramaic speakers, native
we know Aramaic speakers.
We've consulted with them, and they're not here, but they are 100% on board with us. So we can bring on native Aramaic people who speak Aramaic,
and
study
we can
Aramaic.
bring sources.
So, but Aramaic didn't really come up. That's why we didn't need to. But sorry, you were saying.
So you now know real Christians who, not like Muslims who, don't conceal the sins of your brother. We don't do that. We bring everything out to the light because we walk in the light. Muslims really need the Lord Jesus Christ, you guys.
They don't need to be lied to, guys.
Muslims I'm allergic to lies. All I've heard since I was born was lies as a Muslim. I don't need to hear lies from Christians. We follow the Lord. He's called the truth. And imagine, even if it worked, even if you brought a Muslim out through some of J. Smith's arguments that are false. Let's say you brought him out of Islam, and then he discovers that it was a lie. Imagine the stumble that you would have given another human being who trusted you even. And let's say he left his religion for you, for what you've said, and he finds out it's not true by a simple Google search. The end doesn't justify the means. We don't lie, and we don't tell misinformation, and we provide evidence, especially if it's about something so sensationalized. And I will also ask Christians to not get so excited about something that seems amazing that no one has ever said before.
Yeah.
Okay?
Let me see, Jeremy. Yeah, you're correct. Okay, let me correct myself. Yeah, we did say lie. Again, just please be understanding of us too. Like it's almost 3 hours, and we were doing a lot of stuff. So I'm not trying to make an excuse.
What's the opposite of
But
truth?
I'm just saying.
Like,
Okay.
What is the opposite of truth?
But you've heard us make the clarification many times when we're saying we're not calling him a liar. We don't know his intentions.
It might be unintentional.
So I did say lies earlier. So if you're correcting that, I'll take your correction. I'll say that Muslims don't need to be misled, okay? Because this information is misleading. Whether it's intentionally misleading them or unintentionally misleading them, they don't need to be misled with wrong information or false information. All right. So I'll take that. But please be gracious as well, because we made the clarification like a million times. We don't think he's a liar. We don't know his heart. All we're saying is that he's giving false information, and he's, let's say, the most gracious thing is he's unintentionally misleading people.
And I'd love to see that high level of accountability go the other side. I'd love for Christians now to go to Dr. J. Smith and ask, what gives? What are you doing? Where did you get this information? Is it true? And where are your sources? So it's always the truth teller that gets, oh, you said this.
No, he's okay. He's okay.
No, I don't mean him. I mean the others. The ones who always...
The ones who insult and left already?
It's like... It's in almost everywhere I go. You tell Muslims the truth, you get beat up for it. Maybe not physically, but you know what I mean. You tell Christians the truth is the same. Guys, we're different.
So at the risk of like repeating some of the points that I already made again, but just like, guys, he said Mamed ben David. It doesn't exist in any Hebrew library.
And he said it's
Mamed
always
ben David.
And he said they always do it.
So guys, just on that one point alone, I mean, although there's many points you can just isolate, just think about it. Why would he be saying that? Well, because somebody told him that. But who is telling him this information that's not true? Who's telling him this false information? And that's what you have to ask. And I don't know the motives again. I'm not saying motives, but I'm saying is it's false. And so when you're spreading that around and you're spreading it to mass audiences, people are going to pick it up and say, well, yeah, Mamed, that's what Jews, Mamed ben David, Mamed ben Oziel, Mamed ben...
And if you ever tell...
It doesn't exist. You talk to a Jew, they're going to be like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
We never said that.
Exactly.
We never, like, that's what the Jews are going to say. And then to the Muslim, to the Arab, oh yeah, Mamed. What is Mamed?
They'll say, what's Mamed? You mean Muhammad?
What do you mean Mamed?
No, Mamed, which is really the title for the Messiah. Even if you speak to a Christian Arab, they'll tell you you're talking nonsense. Even if it's a Christian Arab, they'll say, what's Mamed?
Yeah, I mean, the people in the audience, we don't know the people in the audience at all, what they were talking about, but there's many different ways you can read what we put. Well, anyway, we don't want to repeat everything again. You guys can just go back, but there's many different ways you can read those 4 consonants. But there's only, I mean, come on, guys, like there's only very few correct ways to read that, and Mamed is not one of them. So if someone who does speak Arabic who thinks that he's correct, well, ask them to do what we're doing and say, okay, give the evidence, give the sources. So there are things that we can give sources and arguments for, and then we can't give you a source that says, Mamed doesn't mean the Messiah, because you're not gonna. You can find it. You can show what Mamed does mean, but you're not gonna find it says it doesn't mean the Messiah. So he needs to provide, or one of them needs to provide Mamed, if they want to dispute the Arabic or whatever. Show us where Mamed means the Messiah or the Anointed One. Show us where it means that. That's it.
Show. How about you show us what it really means instead of us keep saying, oh, it doesn't mean that.
Jazz.
Show us.
Jews in Baghdad, Jews anywhere in the world.
They would never
say
that.
They didn't say that. I mean, you don't think I looked in Arabic? I looked in both languages. I looked in Arabic and in Hebrew. And by the way, the Jews in Baghdad, they were writing in what's called, it's like Judeo-Arabic, which means they were writing Arabic in the Hebrew script. So when I check the Hebrew library, it's going to come up on both hits. It's going to show me all the Arabic, and it's going to show me all that. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So Jazz, I hope, because you're someone who's like all the way, like you're lasting this long on the stream. I just hope that you're just open to the truth. Now, I mean, we're hoping that your loyalty is to God and the truth over personalities. Just go with where the evidence leads you. And what we're saying is, we're not saying don't trust J. Smith on anything. What we're saying, what does the title say? These arguments, just these arguments. You can't trust him on these arguments because they're not true.
Jazz, message Dr. J. Smith, ask him for where the source is that he has from Jews in Baghdad
Show us.
saying Mamed.
Show us. We'd love to see it. We guys,
We'd love to.
If we can be proven wrong on this,
I will.
I mean, it's
do another stream or delete this one.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say some of these things you just it's just the language. You just can't. It's like it's already there. So, but if you can somehow give us a source for that, we'd love to see it. But anyway, that's
yeah. So if you don't believe us, ask Dr. J. Smith. Ask Dr. J. Smith for the source where it is that Jews in Baghdad did that. That's all. Just say I want the source to show my friend or show myself. There will be no source that comes. It will be a bunch of just waffle on a slide. The source means a historical source from someone at the time or around the time or at any time, because I'm willing to bet they just don't use it in that way. It's just not true. All right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. It's like the amount of effort that again, he's traveling the world teaching this stuff, and it's like it's so sad to see. Again, he just turned 72 years old. It's just so sad to see that he's spending very precious years of his life teaching wrong information.
Yeah.
And so I totally this comment really resonates with. I can totally understand where you're coming from. It's like you need to bring sources. You need to bring evidences. You can't just it's sad. It's really sad. J. Smith is not someone that I've followed over the years. I can't tell you like, oh, I watched this debate of his. I haven't really followed him over the years. But the times that he would come up and I'd listen to him, I'll be honest. He has a lot of these problems that we're talking about right now. These are a regular occurrence.
Yeah, it's
with a lot of his teachings.
Yeah, it's across the
so
board.
We're not saying everything. We're not saying throw out everything, but a lot of this stuff, guys, it's this kind of quote unquote scholarship, and it's just not good. All right,
so we put some verses up. I on purpose made them very practical. Let's say for people who just are not sure or whatever about what to do when evangelizing to Muslims or people outside of the Lord Jesus. Do not rebuke an older man, exhort him as a father, younger men as brothers. So I held myself back a lot, actually, people saying we're harsh. But I just see it how I see it. Galatians 6 verse 1, if you restore a brother, restore him in a spirit of gentleness. We didn't use any bad words, okay? We didn't curse anyone. I have my theory as to why he's doing it, but I haven't gone into motive. That's between him and God.
Yeah, and I just want to say with this verse, we know that's talking about someone in sin, someone in trespass, but we're just talking about the spirit of it. Like when someone is in error, right? That you want to do it in the spirit of gentleness. So
we're not saying
I hope that came through. Yeah, we're not. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know. But this is the spirit that we're trying to come in. Is like treating them as an elder, as the way we talk to a father, and then someone that you want to restore in the spirit of gentleness. So hopefully you guys can hear like the tone difference between when we talk to Muslims and when we talk to like.
I didn't laugh at him.
Like the Dawa. I mean I shouldn't say Muslims because we're not like, it's not like we're just like with any Muslim we're just like go off on. But I mean like the Dawa guys, right? Like there's a certain tone you talk to Dawa guys in when they're aggressive or whatever. But hopefully you guys can see the difference there. How this was done.
I didn't change his name into a mockery like I do with a lot of the Dawa guys or any of that. Speaking the truth in love, Ephesians 4:15. Love sometimes looks like correction. If you go to Hebrews 12, the Lord says that he loves everybody he chastens. And if he doesn't chasten you, that means you're not his child. You're illegitimate, yes? So actually love can look like really caring that you get things right and, tough love. Proverbs 1 verse 5, a man of understanding will attain wise counsel. This is for Dr. J. Smith. Whoever's your counsel on Arabic,
please change the counsel
on Arabic and Hebrew. Change it. They are telling you wrong things about these languages.
Please.
Yeah, they are lying to you.
Well,
we know because we know he doesn't know these languages, so he's getting it from someone, or someone's.
Well, again, lying or someone is just severely misunderstanding something. But that's being
Okay,
like really, really gracious there.
uh,
But
I-
still,
I-
he needs to change his counsel.
I just can't. I can't imagine an Arab saying this
I
stuff.
can't. This can't be coming from an Arab. It can't be coming
It's
from an
maybe
Arab.
someone who's learned the language new or something. I don't know.
There's no. I just can't imagine it comes from an Arab or someone. It came from, and the Hebrew stuff can't be coming from someone who knows Hebrew either, because it just takes a simple search. You don't even need to, guys. You don't need to know Hebrew. Even if you just know how to write the letters, just read the letters, and you can just type in a database. That's all you need. So whoever is feeding them this information, I would be very, very, very surprised if they know the languages. Very surprised.
And
So yeah,
people are saying that he will respond. If he does respond, and if you're listening, Dr. Smith,
he's not gonna watch. We're already. I'm sorry, guys. He's not gonna. I already know he's not gonna watch this.
how do you know?
He doesn't watch these type of live streams.
Yeah, they're very long for him.
Yeah,
maybe?
it's too long for him. Maybe if we clip it or something like that, maybe he'll watch it. But I mean, yeah.
Dr. Smith, please give references. That's all I ask. I want sources and references, not just your slides written free texted. That's all I ask. If you are going to respond, I don't want to hear another.
He's not going to respond.
Waffle.
Yeah, he's not going to respond.
Proverbs 13 verse 18. He who regards a rebuke will be honored. So here the Lord tells us that we can get rebuked.
Yeah.
And so it's a rebuke is not anti-Christian. Christians, I love you, but I don't get my theology from you. And there's a reason for that. I get it from the Bible. Yeah. Bible says he who regards a rebuke will be honored. That means there is honor in a rebuke and there's honor in receiving it.
Yeah, I mean, and we can give you like a real life example of this just a few seconds ago. The guy who called me out on saying the thing lying again. I take that. I really appreciate that. I appreciate when people hold us accountable. So I appreciate that. You have to, if you make a mistake, you need to be honorable and you need to be responsible and take ownership of it. And then
we do it to each other.
We have to do it to each other. So the guy, Jeremy, I think was his name, Jeremy, I appreciate when you call me out on that. And I had to rephrase it and reword it. And I apologized because I did word it wrongly. But you need to take the rebuke with as something like it's a responsibility, because guys, the Lord Jesus doesn't need us to go out and tell things that are not true to people. He doesn't ask us to do that. He doesn't need us to do that.
To get people to follow him.
To get people to follow him. All right. It's a spirit of God who's going to wake these people up. And God doesn't ask us to go out and spread misinformation.
But he doesn't bless. But he doesn't bless misinformation.
He doesn't ask us to go out and spread information. So we need to call it out when we see it. We need to call it out when we see it.
And someone who's too proud to be corrected is not someone that the Lord will bless. I don't mean Dr. Smith. I mean generally. Any person, and I mean for all Christians who have these personality cults, if you notice anyone who you love and respect as a Christian and teacher who does not take correction, or he gets arrogant and egotistical about it, that person will not get the same blessing from the Lord as the humble person. The Lord tells us that he resists the proud. Resists means he makes everything difficult for them, and he gives grace to the humble. So if you want grace from God, if you want blessing from God, be humble and follow humble people. Don't be following people who are arrogant and proud and refuse to be corrected and say things with confidence that are false. This is wrong. And everyone can be corrected. We're all human. Nobody's above it. And I don't care how many PhDs they have either. Proverbs 27 verse 5, open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. Again, it's scripture that says we can rebuke each other. And it's better than love. Can you imagine rebuke is better than love?
Open rebuke, yeah.
Open rebuke, not rebuke in secret.
So guys, I want to just hold on.
Sorry, I can't get it.
We're frozen.
I'm frozen.
Oh, okay, we're back. We're back. So open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. So you rebuke in love, and that's better than just concealing your love and just holding it back and not saying anything, not correcting, not doing anything. So that's it. And there's an additional point that we wanted to make about this whole topic. Like, I really like how in the debate, one thing I really liked about the debate was where Jay and Raymond got together and they're like, look, no matter the truth of this, existence of Muhammad or not, we can all agree that Islam is false and Jesus is Lord. And, we want to see people leave Islam and come to Jesus. So I really liked, I mean, they didn't say that verbatim, but it was something to that effect. I really liked that. But I want to show you guys the practical effect for us, if whether Jay is right, which he's not right about the arguments that we were discussing, but I'm talking about big picture. If he was right that Muhammad didn't exist, or if, you know, others are like, we're right that he did exist. Which, by the way, again, it's not our field, but let's say Raymond, we'll say Raymond's right that Muhammad did exist, or David's right that Muhammad did exist. This is how it would, this is what it would look like for us practically. Like what would it look like practically for us? This is what we're.
So guys, tell me, did the gods that are not the Lord, other gods, fake gods, did they exist? No, they didn't. They're not real. Only one God exists. Yet, there's a lot of mention in the Bible about gods, the gods of your fathers that you served. My point here is, even if Muhammad didn't exist, we can talk about him as somebody who shouldn't be followed. And that's biblical. Just as the Bible talks about these gods with a small g, that they shouldn't be followed or served. And there's a biblical precedence for that. Like in Joshua 24, verse 15, if it seems evil to you to serve the Lord, choose for yourselves in this day whom you will serve. The gods which your fathers served, that were on the other side of the river. He even names them where they are, even though they don't exist. Or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell. Okay, again, he mentions the land and the people. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That's why I tell Muslims, whether Muhammad existed or not, don't serve him, don't worship the fake God that he came from. Serve the Lord. That's the biblical precedent. So it's actually not wrong. We actually don't need to find out for sure if Muhammad existed or not. We can just use this biblical principle to act as if it, even if he didn't exist, if we talk about him, we're not sinful for doing so. Because otherwise, Joshua would have been sinful for doing so. He isn't. Just talking about the gods that these people serve. And even in 2 Kings 1:3, this is about King Ahaziah, the angel of the Lord himself said to Elijah, arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say to them, is it because there is no God in Israel that you are going to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? So even the angel of the Lord himself mentioned the god of Ekron and his name. Even though he doesn't exist, really, only one God exists. So actually, as Christians who evangelize to Muslims, even if Muhammad doesn't exist, we can talk to them about him. It doesn't make us fools, because they believe in him. And we can reason to them as to why he shouldn't be followed. Just like the Lord speaks in the Bible about the Baals and Molech and all the other false gods, and that they shouldn't be served or worshipped, only him, even though they don't exist, really, and they're not gods. But he still calls them that because that's what the people believed. Does it make sense? You can also appropriate to people's beliefs, like in Acts 17 here, Paul, he was walking through Athens, and he was considering the objects of worship. Do you see that? He even found an altar to the unknown God. Now, he has no proof that the unknown God is Yahweh, and yet he uses it to preach to them about the real God. So that's what we do with Muslims. Even if they believe Allah exists and Muhammad exists, we can use the same method to try and help them to know that that's not the real God. And there's precedence in the Bible here. That's what I wanted to say. To us, to take it away practically, we don't actually have to answer the question of whether these things existed or not, because the Bible gives us permission, and it does talk in a language that treats these things as if they existed, to bring these people to the real God. All right.
So guys, that was our very long stream today. We didn't think it would be too popular. We didn't really know what the result would be, what it would be like, but we thought this was the time to do it. Like I said, we did a lot of praying about it, and we were advised by people that, you know, we really look up to as elders in the Lord, and people that we respect and love. And so we've been advised to talk on these topics. And, you know, after watching his debate, yesterday we decided, after prayer and asking God, we thought that, this is the time. So there's obviously a lot more to say, and there's a lot, of other topics we could have covered, but this is really the core as to what we're saying here, that don't be someone who like values or someone who prioritizes a person above the truth. And no matter who that person is, if it's us, if it's anybody, don't put them above the truth. Your loyalty needs to be to God and to the truth, not to people. Okay. So for Jay, again, with respect and with love, viewing him the way that we mentioned as an elder, we say lovingly that the information that he presents is wrong on these topics that we presented on, and it is false, and it's extremely misleading to the audience that he has over millions of people watching. So something needs to be said. So,
and if you see someone saying something wrong, if they don't know it, and to not correct them, that's not love. If Jai ever sees me saying something wrong, he corrects me straight away. Even if it's a misspeak, he corrects me. If I get a letter wrong, a number wrong, he corrects me. To not correct someone, to allow others to then come back and attack them for mistakes, by that I mean Muslims, which they would if they pay enough attention, if they have enough time away from scandals and second wives and hotel wives, and they actually sat and watched it, they'll be having a field day. If you really love him, you want to protect him from that, and you want to protect Christians from this bad witness. That's love.
Yep.
Love is not this fluffy, I'm going to follow you even if you say that the sky is green. That's not love. And if that's what you think love is, that's not the way of Jesus, I'm afraid. Jesus cares for the truth.
And I just want to say, as well as a message to Christians who might have just taken what he said, and I understand, like there's a certain appeal to, well, he's an elder, he's a scholar, he's this, he's that, he's been doing this for all this stuff, right? And you might have just taken his material and just used it, and you might be someone who has talked to many Muslims and already uses information. For you, you're not sinful or wrong for giving something that you thought was true, but you now have a responsibility to correct it. So if you did tell someone like, hey, Mamed was something used by the early church to refer to Jesus, or Mamed is the true pronunciation according to what Jay was saying in the Arabic in the text that we went over, or that the Jews say Mamed ben Uziel or Mamed ben David. If you were someone who repeated those things, you do have a responsibility to go out and to correct those things and to undo that misinformation if you have personally spread it. But know that we're not coming after you. We're not calling you a liar or anything like that. We're just saying, guys, if you didn't know, this information is false, and that's all. We're just trying to do it in a spirit of love and a spirit of protection as well, because you protect the people that you love, right? So if someone comes into your house and I was gonna say lie again, but I was thinking of Jeremy.
Say mistruth.
If someone, so thank you, Jeremy. I was thinking of you when I said that. So if someone comes to your house and they give wrong information to your family, and that's wrong information, are you going to just let them keep believing it, or are you going to try to correct it, or what? Of course you're going to try to correct it, and of course you're going to do it in a spirit of love because they're your family. So that's the spirit that we're coming in. We want to do this in the spirit of love, and obviously things get passionate and things happen. Things might have been said that were said in passion or whatever, but this is like this. This is like our hearts with it. So
our fellow brothers and sisters who have big platforms, you guys have a big responsibility for people who trust you and listen to you. Can you imagine standing in front of 1 million people? God teachers have a harsher judgment in the Bible. And now, because of the internet, now it's going to potentially millions of people. Jay Smith was watched by 1 million people in one video. Be very careful if you're in a public arena and people respect and listen to you. We pray so hard, and we're only a tiny channel compared to these other big channels. And if you're hosting people or whatever, if you have a platform, you have people listening, you have a responsibility. Double check and triple check this information before you spread it or promote it, or everybody's going to give an account for every word.
That's right. MP, really appreciate your comments here. MP saying that they didn't spread this information, but they were really like considering it because the arguments sounded convincing. And Jay, he does.
He's very convincing.
He does like a lot of rhetoric, and he sounds very convincing. He sounds like like he sounds very confident when he says it. And so we're not faulting you at all for that. And that's it's like you said, it's something to learn from. It's something to learn from. So in the future, like if someone says something, like again, it's sensational. It sounds good, right? It's just like
I was the same with
yeah.
the Petra stuff. I was like, yo, Islam tomorrow is gonna be dead. And a couple of years later, it was wah. It's like
it went from the Petra theory to the Jerusalem theory to this theory to that theory.
We were too far north. Let's come back to Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where Muhammad was. Now he doesn't exist. You can't play games with me like that. This is people's souls are on the line. This isn't like intellectual exercise where the academics love to just posit theories and it's fun for them. Real people take this information to other real people in Islam and try to convince them, and then they fall flat. It's not right. We're not talking about something that doesn't affect people's lives and eternities. Yeah.
It's like it'd be one thing, guys, if he's trying to convince you that, like, I don't know, like we've anyway, you can talk about like what's the best type of pizza or something, or what's the best type of ice cream.
Yeah,
and he's trying to convince you the best. Okay, we're not gonna do a stream about that. Like if he thinks that you can't.
We did a poll on pizza. Is it better hot or cold?
Yeah.
Me personally, I think it should always be hot, even if you're eating it the second day. You should heat it up.
And I'll have it both ways. And especially
Jai can take it from the fridge. And it's ice cold and eat it.
Yeah. So what we're saying is, we're not going to do a stream on that and be like, oh, he's misleading people into thinking that you need to heat up pizza or you don't need to heat up pizza. It's like we're not going to do stream on that. But this is something that it has to do with apologetics, has to do with evangelism, and again, you can't. Like you don't want to win people over with misinformation. And so anyway, a lot of the stuff I think is getting repetitive now. So there's a very long stream. If you guys are just tuning in late now, I really encourage you to go back to the beginning, hear it from the beginning, and we'd love to get your feedback. And if you guys give us your comments, we do go through the comments, we do read the comments, and so we are looking forward to your feedback. We're already expecting a lot of comments in the direction from the very loyal to Jay Smith rather than truth people who just come and insult things like, oh, you third world people, whatever. We're not interested in those comments. But if you guys have like real criticisms or real corrections,
like factual,
we're very willing for that. Or if you just want to give your feedback and just say, hey, I liked it, I appreciated it, I benefited from it. Anything you guys want to say on that, we really appreciate all of your feedback, whether it's positive, whether it's critical. As long as it's not insulting, we're not gonna tolerate insults. We don't tolerate insults from Muslims. So we're not gonna tolerate insults from Christians either.
Yeah, we're Christians. So it's different between us.
Yeah. So So I have seen a couple recommendations from people saying to like either clip it or to make it more bite sized, and then that way Jay might actually see it. I don't know, but if we do it like that, but if not, I mean, maybe we'll leave it to you guys. If one of you guys wants to clip it, you guys are more than welcome to.
Yeah, clip it.
But because we have, you guys know we're always like preparing for other things and doing more things and other things. So we have the next thing is on task. So it's like we're feel free to clip it, guys. And
Jay Smith fan. We're Jay Smith fans when he was when he's not saying wrong things. So he's my brother, and my older brother, and elder in the Lord.
Yeah, and so really appreciate that comment, Groovy Granny, because like that's exactly right, and that's what I was trying to say. Like we're trying to reach out to those people who are like, look, we understand Jay Smith said this, but we are more interested in the truth than personality. So that's a great sentiment there.
We've been going on for 3 hours 23 minutes. This is the longest stream ever.
Yeah, this is officially our longest stream. So
we might as well stay till all night.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys?
You guys want to get some more popcorn and Pepsi and stay the night?
We should do a poll on pineapple on pizza.
But, oh,
The Hawaiian. So here's my theory. Pineapple should never be on pizza.
so we're gonna have a whole big debate about that in the chat now. But anyway, that's for another stream probably when we're like just having fun or something. But well, all right, guys.
All right.
God bless you all, and
Jesus is Lord.
Jesus is Lord. We love you all, and we'll see you guys on the next stream. Which should
let's
we
do
do?
Don't Imagine It.
Imagine It. All right, guys. Here we go. See you in the next stream.
You're imagining this deformed thing, and they say it moves, and you're imagining it hopping, and they go, oh, but don't imagine it. And you're thinking, well, it's a bit late, mate. What? Not imagine it. Don't imagine it. Don't imagine it. It's a bit late for that, mate. Don't imagine it. Don't imagine it.
The Quran says that Allah has one eye, and another ayah says He has multiple eyes, multiple eyes, and both of Allah's hands are right hands. Both of them are right. How? I don't know. Don't try. Don't try.
Don't imagine it. Don't imagine it. It's a bit late for that, mate. Don't imagine it. Don't imagine it.
The fingers of Allah are mentioned. The shin of Allah is mentioned. The face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioned. So all these are a direct indication that Allah has got a shape.
How? I don't know.
Don't imagine it. Don't imagine it. It's a bit late for that, mate. Don't imagine it. Don't imagine it. Let me dumb this down for you guys. This one, God